What's going on? What's going on, you brothers? What is going on? It is your dude, Mr. International Passport, here again for yet another future classic. First and foremost, brothers, please press a one in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear. How is my audio? And press a two in the chat if you're bumping that new Nas album, which is possibly, quite possibly, a classic. All right, so press a one if you can hear me. Press a two if you're bumping that new Nas album. What's going on, brothers? Who's here? Ethan, shout out to you. Shout out to Based. Long live Raphael. Awesome. So I think I'm good. So, brothers, welcome aboard for yet another classic, future classic live stream. I'm your gracious host, Mr. International Passport. I want to say a huge thank you to all those that have supported the channel over the past couple of years. Your support has been greatly appreciated. And welcome aboard the new people. I accept and I embrace you with open arms. When you come in this live stream, brothers, please like the video. Likes are extremely important. We got 40 people here already. So I should see 40 likes. You got to show me some support and show some engagement. Those two are very important for YouTube. Of course, the Python course is starting next week Sunday, and I'll be closing that on the 22nd of September midnight. So as soon as a clocks midnight, I will officially shut it down to any new signups. If you're serious about living this remote life, if you're serious about hearing the brother Johnny speak about his experience working remotely in Chile, Santiago, okay, you will join that Python course and let me teach you to kickstart your IT career and give you that boost, okay? So join that Python course. Also, make sure you join the Patreon in general for behind the scenes intel on foreign women, financial advice, traveling, how foreign women get down in the bedroom. Whew. You brothers need to know that what really goes down, and that's only on the Patreon. Go and check it out, brothers. And of course, cop the merch, man. Get a t-shirt, get a hoodie. Show me some support. That'd be greatly appreciated. Tonight, hit the super chats. If you have any questions or you want to show me some support, do show me some support by hitting the super chats and, of course, hitting the PayPal to support as well. Every super chat, YouTube takes a 45% cut, which is a lot. Okay, PayPal doesn't. So if you can support on the PayPal, that'd be greatly appreciated. And last but not least, if you're interested in IT, if you're interested in travel advice, CV help, if you're interested in guidance, brothers, okay, please make sure you book your IT consultation on the calendar link in the description box below and in the comment section once this stream ends. Okay, so go on my calendar link, book your session with me, and let's kickstart your IT career. Okay, let's get it cracking. Okay, so in this video, okay, I got a very special guest here with me who was recently in Santiago, Chile, a new country and a new city. Okay, he's here to break down his overall experience, ranging from women, culture, cost of living, food, working remote IT there, the internet connection. I mean, whew, you're gonna get the whole 9 yard on this new country. So let's get straight into it. Mr. Johnny, how you doing, brother?
Doing fantastic, IP. How are you?
I'm doing great, bro. I'm doing great. Thank you very much for the kind words, brother. So, Johnny, do you mind giving us a brief breakdown as to who you are, where you're from, and anything interesting about you?
Delighted to. So I am originally from the U.S., specifically the tri-state area, East Coast, Jersey area. I was born and raised there, educated there. Uh, after my bachelor's in chemie, I moved down to North Carolina, got a master's, got a PhD in chemical engineering, and then after that, was hired by a tech company out west. Moved out west, and I've been working at that same tech company ever since. So from 2016 up until now, so about 7+ years in the tech sector. I I stumbled onto your channel. I want to say late 2021. Um, but it wasn't until after we lost KS that I really started leaning heavy into the content that you were sharing, and I got super excited about it. I had been traveling, I want to say internationally since 2017, but I hadn't thought about, you know, working abroad, living abroad, and dating abroad until I want to say 15 months ago after listening to your content and um, really just evaluating, how I was, the kind of results I was getting domestically and stateside in terms of woman. And when I really started to lean into opening up my options internationally, I just experienced a world of difference just in my overall well-being, demeanor, women, exposure to culture, cuisine, all of that. And now, I guess as a thank you, I just want to give back to other guys that might not know, other guys that, might be on the fence, aren't sure about traveling, aren't sure about, working abroad, living abroad. Um, I have like, I'm very happy as a result of doing it. And I just want to share that with other people. And your channel is a way to do that.
Amazing. And thank you, bro, for coming back here to contribute to the channel and helping liberate brothers all around the world. Let's get it cracking. So, Santiago, Chile, brother, you were recently there, right? And my first question to you, brother, is oh, brothers obviously love going to Colombia. You know that brothers love Colombia, right?
And I know why. Yeah, yeah. Brothers love going to Colombia, bro. I love going to Colombia. I've been there twice already.
If it's not Colombia, it's Mexico. If it's not Mexico, it's Dominican Republic. So when I heard you went to Chile, brother, I'm like, Chile? Okay, interesting. Can I ask why you chose Chile out of, out randomly, brother? What was your reason?
The reason why I decided to go down to Chile is really because it's off the beaten path. I wasn't hearing a lot about it. Like you said, a lot of guys like to go to Colombia, Brazil, Mexico, DR. Um, and I was just curious, to be honest. I know that in general, Argentina, Uruguay, Chile, it's more of a different vibe than it is from the rest of Latin America. Only because I think there's a lot of connection that that part of South America has with Europe, and just that coupled with the fact that I just I don't know a lot of guys that are going down there. I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of I guess testimonials, if you will, of folks' experiences going down there. And I'm the kind of guy that you know I I like to check out what people are doing, but I also like to go off the beaten path and try something new. And so I figured, why not go to Santiago?
Amazing, amazing, bro. So you were in Santiago, Chile, awesome. So let's get a cracking, brother. Um, where were you staying in Santiago, Chile? Was it hotel? Was it Airbnb? I want to know more about accommodation and how much that cost you, brother, per day or per month. Break it down for us.
Sure. So I was specifically staying in an Airbnb in one of the suburbs of Santiago de Chile. So Santiago, obviously, I think most folks know is the capital of Chile, but within the greater Santiago metropolitan area, you've got a plethora of suburbs. And the particular suburb that I stayed in was Las Condes, and I'll type that in the private chat so that other brothers know. um, Las Las Condes, um, Providencia, Vitacura. These are the richer, higher end, more upscale suburbs of Chile, of Santiago de Chile. And I stayed in an Airbnb, which was essentially a condominium uh, in Las Condes, and I was there for about 9 days. Um, in terms of like the amenities, the vibe, the overall area, it's what you would imagine you'd be provided with if you stayed in an upscale um, uh, suburb pretty much in America. So I don't know if people realize it or not, but Santiago is a very, very modern, cosmopolitan city. It's one of the probably one of the richer, if not the one of the richest cities in South America. So it's going to be on par with some of the major metropolitan areas in the States or in the UK, and is pretty much going to offer all of the modern conveniences that uh, you could hope for. I was there for about eight, like I said, 8 days, and I think if I recall correctly, it ran me about five or 600 for that week. Um, yeah, because it's a little more upscale and modern. It's not going to be as cheap as, say, a city in Colombia or a city in Brazil. But I think um, the trade off that you get there is that it's going to be that much more safer. You're going to, like I said, going to be provided with a lot more modern conveniences in terms of access to restaurants, gyms. The roads are, paved. um, just imagine like you're pretty much living in a first world city. So what you give up in terms of, economics, you're gonna be paying a little bit more money. You're gonna get what you get in return is it's almost like being in the States in terms of modern conveniences, safety, even the people that you're around, they're more sophisticated. It's more like you're around a lot of business class folks. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell in terms of like where I stayed, how long I stayed, and like the costs.
Amazing, incredible, brother. And would you say that Airbnb was of sufficient quality, gave you everything you needed? Let's say in terms of conveniency, uh, um, internet connection reliability. So, do you want to break
Right.
down? Yeah, break it down for us,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. So anything that anything that you think you might need, terms of like reliable internet connectivity, 2, 3, 400 megabytes per second, um, you know, an in-house gym, in-house laundromat, um, uh, 24-hour, security guard that was actually inside the condominium. Uh, all of that, close proximity to, gyms, restaurants, movie theaters, major malls. Oh, like I guess uh, quick fact: I was actually the Airbnb that I stayed at was near the Costanera Mall, and I'll type that in the chat so that folks uh, can find that on the map. It's a pretty big mall in Las Condes, and I spent some time there. That's where a lot of younger folks spend. A lot of the Chilean families spend a lot of time there. Um, it's a very nice upscale mall. A lot of lit up screens. A lot of high end department stores selling high end merchandise. All of that.
Amazing, amazing breakdown so far, bro. Incredible. So, going on from there, brother. Right. So you're your Airbnb, right? Um, so let's break down, brother. You working there. So, how was the internet connection like there, brother? Because you work in IT, brother. That's fantastic. You got a couple certs. You're doing well, very well in that Airbnb and in that city in general. How was the internet connection like for us to work remotely, bro?
Incredibly reliable. If you are a brother in IT and you want to work remotely, you want to be a digital nomad, and you're looking for a reliable internet connection, we're talking 5G connectivity, at least. Santiago is definitely an option, without a doubt, hands down. I had my laptop, my work phone, all of that there, and obviously using your setup. Was able to work there without any issue, uh streaming, not not streaming, but I was using all of my work applications without any issue. So yeah, I mean, if brothers are if that is something that they're curious about, is it going to be reliable? Is the internet connection going to be reliable? You can totally throw that worry out the window, because it's going to give you all of the reliability and connectivity that you're going to need in order to be able to do your job without any issue, without any problems.
Amazing. It's great for us to hear that, Santiago, Chile has great internet connection. So let's delve in, brother, as to your your IT stuff, brother, right? So you're working remotely in Santiago, Chile, right? How are you able to do that, brother, without your employer knowing, brother? I mean, who said that? Who said that for you, brother? Do you want to break it down as to, how you're able to work remotely and your employer doesn't know, and you're able to save holiday days, you're able to work anywhere around the world seamlessly? Break it down for us, bro.
Sure. It's when I think about it in totality, it's actually hilarious because I have been let's see, I've been out of town. When I say out of town, away from like, the city where my job is in, I've been out of town, I want to say a total of 7, 8 weeks. 7, 8 weeks, but I've only taken 1 week of vacation at my job officially. And that is because I've been able to work remotely from various parts of the world, yet all of my internet activity is still showing up as if I'm home. And that is because I found a certain YouTuber uh, on the internet. His name is International Passport, and he was talking all this, you know, he's talking all this gab about how he could make you look. He could allow you to be pretty much like a ninja working around the world, and your employer would never know about it. And at first I was kind of skeptical. I'm like, how is that even possible? I think this guy's just trying to, I think he's just trying to make a quick buck off of me, or off of some unsuspecting poor soul that doesn't know any better. But I actually, signed up for one of your personal one-on-one consultations, and you talked to me. You in general talked me through the steps. You actually analyzed my particular situation. Um, I gave you the details of, what the IT security is like at my job, and you were able to come up with a situation specific, tailored approach for me that allowed me to pretty much uh, uh, funnel all of my internet activity through one particular point, one particular geographical point that's relevant to where I work in terms of time zone. And so I can pretty much take my work laptop um, to Colombia, to Canada, to Brazil, to Chile, to Germany. I could take it to Tanzania. I could take it to Japan, South Korea. As long as obviously the main constraint is there needs to be a reliable internet connection. But barring that, provided I've got a reliable internet connection, I can pretty much physically work from anywhere in the world. Yet, from an IP standpoint, um, I'm always home. And so I pretty much, yeah. Speaking of that, I joined your platinum tier, one of the many options that you offer on your Patreon. There's quite a few, but I would suggest if brothers want to do what I'm doing, right? If you want to be able to, because I mean, in the States, in corporate America, you're only given 3 weeks of vacation, but I mean, God knows you need more than 3 weeks vacation and break from this place. Okay.
Facts.
So the only way to do that, as far as I know, the only workaround, the only way to achieve that is to either not work and be independently wealthy and just go anywhere you want, um, or or uh, have some sort of remote ability or capability with the particular professional job role that you have, which I do. And you know, you're gonna have to find you're gonna have to find someone that knows this. I don't know. I mean, I'm being very honest. I don't know a lot of people that can actually do this, that can actually pull this off. You know what I mean? That can actually make it seem like you're in one particular place, um, from an internet perspective, but geographically be somewhere else, and be able to maintain that reliably and have no one suspect anything. So just in case there are any brothers on the fence, just in case there's anyone wondering if this is real, or if this is a farce, this is legitimate. Actually, like when I was in Colombia, and I was working remotely with three other guys, um, uh, a couple of other guys were trying a couple of different other approaches in order to facilitate the same setup, or pretty much achieve the same outcome that you were able to achieve with my personal situation IP. And one of the guys, one of his 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 method kind of failed him, and his company was becoming suspicious about where he was, and they were contacting him. And so he almost had to he almost had to prematurely leave Colombia and go back to the States, because they were asking, "Hey, where are you? You know, it's looking like it's reading from, this place or that place, or whatever, outside the country, blah blah blah. Where are you?" So he went to me and he said, "Hey, uh, can I piggyback off of this, whatever you got going on here, with your personal laptop, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Sure, you can do it. I'll save the day." And it's only because you were able to facilitate that. So um, if any brothers got any doubt, if you're within earshot of my voice, I'm telling you, get get onto IP's Patreon, sign up for the platinum tier. I think there's like maybe one, or I think there might be one other tier that also offers this. It might be the combined tier, as
Yes, the
well.
the IP Lightning tier, correct.
Exactly, the IP Lightning tier. Brothers, either the Platinum tier or the IP Lightning tier. If you sign on to one of those tiers, okay, you can set up a personal consultation with IP one on one, and he'll ask a battery of questions, and he will create uh, a setup that is specifically tailored to your situation, that will allow you to work from anywhere in the world remotely, okay, and your company not suspected. My company, they have no idea. To them, I'm still on the west coast. So long story short, the guy that almost had to leave Colombia prematurely, he was able to stay in Colombia. He's very grateful, and he told me that at the next opportunity, he was going to get in touch with IP to get a similar situation set up. So I know I sound very long-winded there, but I really wanted to nail that point home, and get that message across. Like, this is gold. This is not gold. I'm sorry, platinum. This is platinum. Okay, so um, sign up. It is well worth it. I have no regrets about and talking to him about it and getting my own setup situated. And it's what allowed me to enjoy my time in Santiago, still get some work done, and still enjoy different culture, uh, different country, and stay sane while I'm still in the States until I can totally get out of the West permanently. So there you go.
Incredible breakdown there, brothers. Man, if you wanna do what Johnny is doing right now, brothers, join the platinum tier or the IP lightning tier for me to help you sit down, brothers, man. I ain't playing no games out here. I know how to do things here. Johnny can attest to that. Let's get you out there, brothers. Awesome. So let's carry on, Mr. Johnny. Now, you're in Santiago, Chile, having a great time, right? You're living there, you're experiencing the culture. Tell me how the culture is like in Santiago, Chile. Is it conservative? Is it liberal? Break down the cultural aspects of that city and the people in the country.
I'd be happy to, man. Um, I really enjoyed the overall vibe that I got from Santiago. Is it conservative? Is it liberal? Um, I think so when I think, conservative, when I think liberal, I'm thinking about how, the men and women interact towards each other. I'm thinking about, decorum. I'm thinking about mentality, how people carry themselves. And what I can tell you is that in places like Las Condes or Vitacura, which is another suburb that I spent some time in, or Providencia, um, those areas are very cosmopolitan. The people there, uh, they strike me as pretty much people in the business class. Okay, the way they dress. Okay, there's a lot of guys in suits there, a lot of women dressed in both dresses and professional attire. Um, they carry themselves in a very sophisticated manner. um it's just and again, it's super safe, so it's like if I guess if I had to put my if I had to compare it to like maybe a city in America. Oh no, I don't want to compare it to a city in America. I I think, I mean, it kind of made me feel like I was in Vancouver to a degree, to a, like to some degree, just because there's just a lot of professionals there, a lot of working people there. Um, you I guess in terms of like, gender roles, I mean, both men and women are working. Both men and women are, you know, um, how do I want to describe it? So I guess in that respect, it is a bit liberal in that you do have a lot of women in the workforce, right? But there's still that, level of respect between men and women. You know what I mean? Men are men, women are women. I mean, you don't. I can tell you what you don't see. You don't see like a lot of, you know, uh, with super super long nails, super super long eyelashes. Women dress conservatively there. You don't see people with like a lot of stuff out, so to speak, like you might in, say, Miami. You know, I don't know if you've been to Miami, but um, yeah, it's just, yep. At least the women there in those suburbs, they dress like they're classy. They dress like they're classy, and the men, like I said, they're in business suits. Um, they conduct themselves in a very classy way. And what, I guess it's kind of like off to the side, but I noticed there's quite a few people that, smoke there. It's like I think 25% of the population smoke cigarettes or cigars. Um, it it, it kind of reminded me of the short time that I spent in London and the short time that I spent in Istanbul. There's a lot of well-to-do professional business class people. Um, there's an that kind of air about the whole area. So like it's sophisticated, business leaning, professional. Um, I would say in some ways it's conservative, in some ways it's liberal. I mean, the liberal aspect of to me is that, okay, you got a lot of women you got a lot of women in the workforce there, right? So it is like, I guess you can say, like, you can see feminism's impact there, but the way they dress, it's very very respectable. It's very very conservative. They're not, scantily clad or putting themselves out there. Um, even if even the woman that I noticed that, were, blessed up top or blessed below, they still were dressed conservatively. You know what I mean? So yeah. that's kind of how I would describe like the overall um, vibe when I was in Santiago. And as an aside, there's a large contingent of the population that can trace their roots back to parts of Western Europe, like Spain, Turkey, Germany. Because I'm not sure how much folks know, but there's been some degree of migration from Western Europe to places like Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, going back from like the late 1800s all the way through after World War II. You've got a lot of people who can trace their ancestry back to Spain and Germany and Turkey because their grandparents and their great grandparents um, actually immigrated from there. So it's kind of like there's some similarities, if you will, between old Western Europe, and what you see I think in a place like Santiago or a place like Buenos Aires, or Montevideo, Uruguay, if you were to go to those countries. And that's probably why the cultures there are a little bit different than everywhere else in Latin America, right? Because the down in the southernmost part of South America, a lot of those Latin Americans, um, they're pretty much white Latinos and white Latinas, right? And it's primarily because they have those ties to Europe, those old school ties to Europe. So there's aspects of their culture that kind of lean more European, if you will. And it's also why I think you find more people down there that can converse with you in English. Don't get it twisted. I think if a brother goes down there, they should know a little bit of Spanish. But I think if you spend time, in the capital, if you spend time in these suburbs, you're going to run across people that can speak English, that can converse in English with you. Or like if you sit down at a particular restaurant and they find out you only speak English, or your Spanish isn't that great, they might call another waiter over who actually knows pretty good English, and they'll serve you. So they can cater to you in that way. Um, but yeah, sorry. If I get long-winded, please just cut me off, IP, because I have a tendency to get long-winded.
No, no, that was amazing, bro. Amazing breakdown so far. Brothers, can we please get the likes up? We got over 110 people. We should at least be on 100 likes. You gotta support and show some engagement. Please support, like the video, like the stream. That'd be greatly appreciated. Let me read a couple super chats there, Mr. Johnny. Shout out to Mr. Zaka Yahoo, creator only, for the $9.99 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Just signed up, but your Patreon keep changing my tiers. It will update after 7 days. Hold my seat. Antonio Whitehead. Okay, bro. Send me a DM on Patreon. I don't know why it's doing that. That's weird, but send me a DM, bro. And hopefully I can sort that out for you. Appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Mr. Nate Taylor for the $20 super chat. Paying dues for tonight's info. The info already tonight is incredible. A new country, new city. There should be a lot more super chats, man. You know, Fresh and Fit. All these other dudes get plenty of super chats. Now that's great for them, but I'm actually providing solutions. There's problems in the West currently, right? The women are horrible, the culture is bad. I've touched upon over 65 countries on this channel, right? Brothers' lives are being saved. I'm teaching brothers Python. I'm getting brothers into IT. I'm going through brothers' CVs. I'm going through brothers' LinkedIn profiles. Come on, brothers, man. Show me some more support and some more love, man. Please support what I'm doing. That'd be greatly appreciated. Appreciate you, Nate. Shout out to Mr. Almighty Ree for the $2 super chat. How did you find their ridiculously fast Spanish? Is that true, brother, Johnny?
uh, Surprisingly, a little more challenging than I had anticipated. It's funny because I've been to Mexico, Costa Rica, Colombia, and Chile finally, and you know whenever I'm in Colombia, for whatever reason, I can actually understand. I can somewhat understand their Spanish when they're speaking it. Definitely when they slow down. But when I got to Santiago, I kind of struggled a little bit. Um, and it really depended on who I was talking to, right? So I went out to eat quite a bit while I was there over my 8-day trip. Um, I was served by a Peruvian woman, served by a woman from a Chilean, a native Chilean, served by a woman that suspect was either I'm pretty sure she was Colombian just by the way she looked. Um, and and my Uber driver was Venezuelan. So, of all of those folks, I understood the Peruvian and the Colombian folks somewhat easily, and the Chilean and the Venezuelan folks, I had a hard time understanding them. Prime, I, in part because they do speak it pretty quickly, um, but with regards to the Spanish in Santiago, it strikes me as a little bit different than the Spanish that I've heard in Mexico and the Spanish that I've heard in Colombia. And I'm not saying it's not Spanish. It is Spanish. But there's just differences in I think the pronunciation, uh, some of the words that they use, and I suspect it might in some way be related to the fact that ancestrally uh, those you've got folks that can you know trace their roots back to Spain, Germany, Turkey, um, other parts of Europe. And so when you have that confluence of ancestry and that confluence of culture, I think it's going to give rise to uh, a unique, if you will, not dialect because it's still Spanish, but it's gonna put a unique twist on the Spanish that you hear in Santiago. I when I was at if I can remember it correctly, it's a plaza that's in Plaza Peru or Little Peru that's located in Las Condes. I talked to a Chilean guy there who had spent some time in New York and who had spent some time in Florida, and when he slowed down his Spanish and he enunciated everything, I was able to have a conversation with him. But if I'm just talking to like an everyday Chilean, like the typical Chilean, and they're speaking at a speed that's comfortable for them, I struggle more than if I were speaking with someone that's from say Colombia. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I've been studying my Spanish. I'm getting better, but I still got a ways to go. Yeah, humbling. Hello.
Can you hear me now, bro? Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, you blanked out for a second, but yeah.
So I want to ask this, brother, right? And it's in regards to the cost of living there in Santiago, Chile. Can you break down whether it's cheap, expensive? Can you compare it to other countries in Latin America, let's say Colombia, and compare it to America in terms of, food, accommodation, or your overall package? Was it a cheap place to live as a passport, bro?
Sure. So it is definitely cheaper than America. I would say, in terms of like the typical restaurant bill, if you go to a nice high-end restaurant, 4 or 5 star restaurant, or $3 or $4 sign restaurant, you're going to save, I want to say, 25 to 30%, maybe 35% in terms of like the overall cost, in terms of like the bill, in terms of like food, right? Um, in terms of like Ubering around, it's I'd say yeah, you're probably going to save a third, maybe 40%. Um, so there is definitely an economic factor there. You're going to save some money if spend time abroad in Chile, if you decided to relocate to Chile. But compared to the rest of Latin America, compared to Mexico, Costa Rica, Colombia, it's actually pricey. It's actually more expensive than those places. When I was in Colombia, When I was in Mexico and I was in Costa Rica, I mean, like say the Uber rides were, I want to say, 80% off, right? So it's like instead of paying 20, $30 for an Uber ride to travel across town, you're paying like $3, $4. But in Chile, you're probably going to pay 15 to 20. You know what I mean? So it's not as expensive as America, right? Um, it's not as expensive as the UK. The dollar's going to stretch a bit, but it is more expensive than Colombia. It's more expensive than Costa Rica. Um, Chile, Santiago, it's I think it's one of the more expensive, if not the most expensive city in Latin America. Um, so, if brothers are looking to, you know, spend some time there temporarily or relocate there entirely, you're gonna save some money. But it's not like you're gonna be getting, bargain prices like you would in, say, Colombia or Brazil, or Mexico.
Amazing, amazing breakdown. Thank you, bro. So let me ask this, brother. Right. Let's go on to the woman part. I still got some more questions about overall, but I want to touch upon the woman part now, brother.
Let's do
So,
it.
brother.
I love talking about women, man.
Same here, bro. Same here. So, I'm gonna ask you a very important question, brother. Okay. It's a question, right, that can, you know, that's probably the most important question in the history of mankind. It's a question that can serve or that can solve, sorry, world wars. It's a question that can turn water into wine like Jesus Christ did in the Bible. It's a question that can give man the ability to walk on water like Christ did in the Bible. It's a question, right, that can stop an alien invasion, right, from invading planet Earth. And lastly, it's a question that can split a river or sea into two for humankind to walk over from one point to another point. Okay, it's that powerful of a question, brother. This this question is right. Are Chilean women in Chile checking heavy for brothers, brother?
Our Chilean woman in Chile, Santiago de Chile, checking heavy for brothers. I thought, because I knew I was going to be asked this question. I knew, uh, yeah, and I knew you were going to preface with all that because it really is a life-changing question, right? It's a world-changing question, without a doubt. Like, in the more every time I hear you go through that whole spiel, I just become more convinced in my mind, like, that really can change the world. Because if it changes our mentality and it changes how we move throughout the world, and we change the world, well, hey, it changed the world, right?
Mm.
So I can say, without a doubt, if you're a brother, okay, and you're dressed well, you're conducting yourself with class, you know a little bit of Spanish, okay, you're interacting with the locals, the woman there, they perk up. They do perk up. They take notice. They take notice. Now, I'm not saying that they are salivating all over you, that they're gonna run up to you, okay, and get on their knees and be like, "Hey, where have you been all my life?" I'm not saying they're gonna do that, but if you're a brother, right, and your head is screwed on tight, okay, and you're interacting with, the professional woman down there, you can speak a little Spanish, you're friendly, you're open, you're not weird or awkward. Um, they're gonna perk up. They're paying attention. Some of them will give you looks of curiosity, looks of surprise, like, oh. We don't get too many of you down here. What are you doing here? You know what I mean? Or, oh, I don't see him every day. You know, I wonder what he's doing down here. I wonder if he lives here. Um, it's. I'd say it's an overall positive reception for us, of us, down in Santiago de Chile. And for that reason alone, I would encourage more brothers to go down there because when I was down there, I didn't see I didn't see anybody that looked like me, bro. Like
Damn.
not not one. Which made me think, wow, it's like it's really not on brothers' radar. It really isn't for whatever reason. And I know the other countries got brothers' attention, right? But if brothers would venture outside, their comfort zone, get off the beaten path, and go down there, spend a week down there, spend a couple of weeks down there, right? Spend some time among the locals. Like when I was eating in restaurants, I was getting some, getting some stares, some friendly reception, just an open demeanor, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Um, nothing like the States, bro. Nothing like the States. Just open, respectful, you know. Actually, I mean, it started really on my flight there. Um, I think, I forget where I was flying out of. I think I was flying out of Atlanta. It was from, yeah, I think Portland to Atlanta to Chile. Um, and on the flight there, so like, on an international flight, they give you like, I think what, if it's like overnight, they give you like a meal and a snack or whatever. And I'm working out like 4 or 5 days a week, 5 days a week, and I get hungry. I eat 4 times a day, right? So when I'm flying, it kind of screws up my eating pattern, right? And so I obviously blew through the one meal that they gave me. I got hungry because it's a 9 hour trip, I think, yeah, between Atlanta and Chile. And I wanted another meal, so I went back to the flight attendant and I asked for another meal, and they said they would bring it to me later. So I said, okay, great. And so I went back, sat down, and when she finally brought me my extra meal, I still had my empty tray from my first meal on there, and I didn't know how I was going to balance the two because your tray table is very small. It can really only accommodate one meal and a drink. And so the Chilean woman next to me, she said it in Spanish. At first, I didn't understand. She kept pointing to my garbage on my tray table, but I had to really listen because she was only speaking in Spanish. I had to really listen, but she was asking. She was pretty much offering to take my trash for me, so that way, so that way I could place my new meals tray on my tray table and eat my second meal, and she would just hold on to my trash. She would just hold on to my trash for me until the flight attendants came around to collect all the trash. And I don't know, man. It sounds small. It sounds trivial, but no woman in the West, I think, would do that on a flight for me, bro.
Damn.
It's different, bro. It's different. It really is, man. Like, and the fact that she already had trash on her tray table. You know what I'm saying? She knew I was hungry. She could tell I was hungry. It's almost like that motherly instinct, like, I guess, kicked in, and she was like, "Oh, let me help this poor young boy. He's trying to eat a second meal. He doesn't have room. Let me take his trash for him." So she this was a Chilean woman that was sitting next to me. She took my trash for me and allowed me to eat my second meal. And I had plenty of space on my tray table. So yeah, and it started from there. When I signed up at the local gym in Las Condes to get my workouts in while I was living and working there. You know, the Chilean woman that rung me up and gave me my visitor pass and everything. Just all smiles. Respectful. Not like just like, all up in my face or anything, but she's just warm. Just warm reception, very respectful. Um, Even complimented me on my Spanish. I think the fact that I was trying probably spoke volumes to her. Um, and then uh, I think another thing brothers should be aware of is that there are other uh, demographics of women there. There's a little Peru there. Um, so there's a Peruvian community there. I went to a particular Peruvian restaurant that was actually very close to my Airbnb. I'll put it in the chat. It's called Route 66. And it's a Peruvian restaurant with Peruvian cuisine. Uh, a few of the waitresses looked Peruvian. And the reason why I say that is because like the more time I spend in Latin America, the more I'm able to distinguish between certain demographics of Latinas and other demographics of Latinas, right? So I can kind of tell the difference between, Mexican women and Colombian women. I can kind of tell the difference between Colombian women and Chilean woman and Peruvian woman. Peruvian women, they tend to be a little bit shorter. They tend to be a little bit tanner. Um, a lot of some of them have straight hair, but some of them have wavy hair, curly hair. You know what I mean? Whereas the Chilean women, they're more like they lean more European. They're a little slimmer, wider, more straight hair, right? But like the Peruvian women were very warm. They were all smiles. They're actually smiling harder than the Chilean woman. Um, so there's that. And then I went to a nice cafe called Beppo Bistro. I'll type that in the chat. That is located in Providencia, which is another nice neighborhood that is adjacent to Las Condes. And I'm pretty sure the woman that served me was Colombian. And I was just going based off of her skin complexion and her build because she was built like a Colombian woman. And I caught her staring more than once at me while I was eating. Like she was ogling me, bro, like ogling me. And like when I caught her, she kind of like, oh, I got caught, and she like looked away and kind of blushed. I could tell she was blushing. So there's definitely woman there that will key on you, check you out, maybe even give you choosing signals. I mean, I think that's probably a choosing signal, and I probably could have done something about it. But I had just come off of a trip from both Cali, Colombia, and Vancouver, Canada, and I was kind of spent, if you know what I mean. So I wasn't trying to source more prospects. I really just wanted to go to Santiago and just take everything in, not really chase any tail too much, but just wanted to go down there, get my feet wet in a southern Latin American country, and just see what it was like. But yeah. uh oh, I actually saw a couple of Asian people.
Ooh.
Yeah, crazy, right? But like brothers, like, if I really want brothers to get a hold of this, because like I know Colombia's got your attention, I know Brazil's got your attention, DR, what have you, but I'm telling you, there are other places in South America that you can go to, that you can check out, that you can explore. And Santiago's one of them. You gotta remember, it's one of the richer cities. There's other people that come there from other parts of Latin America, right, to set up shop. There's Venezuelans there, there's Peruvians there, there are Colombians there, um, and there are Asian people there. I saw some Asian people. It wasn't like a large contingent that I saw, but I saw some Asian people. And like the two Asian girls that I saw, they were in a restaurant, and I was walking by, and like I saw them, right? And then um when I saw them and they saw me, they like looked up immediately, like immediately. And then I looked away because I'm like, well, I don't want to stare. I think it's rude to stare. And I've seen Asian people before. You know what I mean? So it ain't nothing to me. So I look down, but then like in my mind, I'm like, they looked up rather immediately, like they had seen someone from another planet, like they had seen some sort of alien. So I looked up again to see if they were looking at me. They were still looking at me, and they're like their jaw was just open. Their jaw was just agape. Their mouth was agape, like they had never seen a guy like me before. And I think what I tend to think is there's just not a lot of Western black men that go to Santiago, and when they do, they stand out and people notice. So yeah, yeah, and no,
Incredible.
no, we're not talking about looks of shock or disgust or anything. Curiosity, interest, and openness. Yeah.
Were these like Chinese Asians, Japanese Asians, Korean Asians? Are you able to tell the difference between them, brother?
So I'm not as skilled as you are or as Ramel, but going based off of their going based off of their build and their face, they definitely weren't South Korean because I know South Korean women. I can tell the difference between South Korean women and you know women that aren't South Korean just because of how South Korean women are built. And I can also distinguish, like, say, Filipinas and Vietnamese and Cambodian women from like East Asian women in general. These women for sure were East Asian. They were definitely East Asian and they were not South Korean.
Okay, amazing. Okay, so now give me the racial breakdown of Chilean women in Santiago, Chile. Would you say it's majority all white European background, sorry, white looking Chilean women, or are they Afro Chilean women, there, brother? Are they my favorite woman, which is the peanut butter brown skin chicks? Were they out there in Chile? Um, Break down the racial demographics amongst the women, brother.
I, phew, mm, I would have to say predominantly the majority of the Latinas there were white, uh, European looking uh, woman. Now, some of them there was some that that had like a tinge of tan, right? Like maybe they were sort of like an off white, like maybe maybe they had like sort of like maybe an Italian look about them, maybe, right? But a large percentage of them were pretty much white Latinas, not a lot of Afro Latinas. I'm trying to think because I walked all throughout those three suburbs, went to a museum, several restaurants, the mall. Yeah, they were pretty much all white for the most part. For the most part, yeah, not a
Okay.
lot of peanut butter skinned Latinas.
Awesome. Let me read a couple of super chats. This is already a classic, brothers, man. Already a classic. Shout out to Johnny for the great breakdown. Shout out to Mr. Zaka Yahoo creator only for the $9.99 super chat. There should be a lot more super chats, brothers, a lot more PayPal donations. The brother Johnny is breaking down Chile to an absolute T. So when you go out there, you have all the info you need to have a successful trip there. Only on this channel with intelligent brothers. You gotta support more, man. If this was fresh and fit, if this was, any other channel, there'll be a lot of super chats flowing. This channel is giving you solutions. I'm going to keep saying it. You're getting solutions from this channel, IT solutions, international country solutions, teaching you Python solutions, having a network of like minded brothers solutions. You got to support brothers. This brother is intelligent and has a cool, laid back attitude plus good speech. Yes, indeed. Shout out to Johnny. He is very intelligent. He's in IT and he's doing great things in IT. Shout out to Johnny, man. Shout out to Mr. Almighty Ree for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Which is more underrated, Peru or Chile? I'm not sure if Johnny's been to Peru before. You been there before, brother?
Unfortunately, I have not.
Sorry, bro. So we can't answer that question. Anyone that's been to Peru, can you answer the question in the live stream chat? That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. Shout out to the legend himself, Mr. Theo Waff, always supporting. Looking forward to the Passport Bro show with Theo next week. And before I read the super chat, can we all give a huge thank you in the live stream chat for yet another successful Manosphere conclave? Okay, Theo was very instrumental in this Manosphere conclave, and in the previous conclaves, actually paid out of his own pocket a lot of money to set up a networking conclave for like-minded brothers to come together and congregate, share information, and thrive and prosper. Can we all please say thank you? We appreciate you, Phil, for what you do for the community. We need to start giving, intelligent brothers who help out other brothers their flowers in real time, man. We need to start doing that, and it's about time that we give Phil his respect and props for what he does for brothers and the Passport Bros movement. And we'll obviously touch upon that very soon, as to how that conference went. But I heard it was a success, a huge success. So thank you, Phil, for all you do. He says here, enjoying this, keep it going. Salute, salute. Thank you, Theo. Much appreciation, brother. Let's keep going, Mr. Johnny. So, um, next question for you, Johnny, is so where are the best places, right, in Santiago, Chile, brother, to meet respectable woman, in Santiago? Would you say it's parks, the museum? Is it a certain spot? Break it down for us, brother, please.
Gladly. My recommendation, if you're looking to meet, classy, educated, sophisticated, uh, businesswoman, working woman, uh, woman that might, make good wife material, I would definitely spend time in the parks because I didn't, I mean, not all the women that I saw were walking around, were unaccompanied, but I saw some women walking around in parks, some women in groups. Um, the I guess like the bars and the restaurants, you've got both single women and women in groups dining out, walking about. Um, I did go to a museum while I was there, like an art museum that was located in Vitacura. And I saw, I saw some like groups of women uh, viewing some of the pieces. And generally, like when I find women in those places, though, if I wanted to like cold approach, walk up to somebody and strike up a conversation, um, it'd be women in those settings. Woman in coffee shops. Saw a woman in coffee shops studying on their laptops. Um, and all throughout the suburbs that I spent time in, Las Condes, Vitacura, and Providencia. That's not to say that you might not be able to find them downtown. I'm sure that you could, but from the information that I was able to gather just from trying to chat up people that were already there, they recommended Las Condes, Vitacura, and Providencia. I also saw quite a few women at the malls, walking around both individually, in groups. Um, some of them had, uh, a gentleman, a suitor already. But yeah, if you're looking for, girlfriend prospects, marriage prospects, malls, parks, museums, um, plazas, um, universities, or like near university campuses, um, that would be my recommendation if you're looking for the wholesome, business minded, educated, sophisticated woman. Like I mean, when I spent like a day just walking throughout Vitacura, and I mean I just saw a lot of young, appeared to be maybe 2, 3, 4 years out of college, um, women that were dressed professionally, dressed well, walking with elegance, you know, clean kept, short nails, either long hair or hair tied up in a bun. Um, Woman that might appear to be cream of the crop. So yeah, I think if you go and you know some Spanish, I can't stress this enough, guys. I really can't stress this enough. Like if you go down there and you're looking to land some prospects, if you can if you can meet them halfway at least, and speak some Spanish, it's going to go a long way. That's not to say that you're not going to run across some women that don't know English. There's women down there that know English. Like I was waited on, like one woman in particular. I was waited on. She studied English on the side, while also helping to run the family business that she was waiting in. And she could speak pretty decent English. It felt like my brain got a break when I was talking with her, which was nice. Um, but I wouldn't count on that. I wouldn't solely rely on that. I would stress, putting your nose to the grindstone and studying Spanish for a good 3 6 months, and then go down there and test it out. If you can speak the language, by far, I think that's gonna I wouldn't say it's a guarantee, but it is going to I'd say tremendously increase your odds, your chances of landing the kind of woman that you want. You want to land a high quality, classy, um, woman. I think if you're going down there, so learn the language, learn the language.
A- Amazing breakdown so far, bro. Incredible breakdown. So, uh, let's step away from the woman part and get more into IT, right? So, I can hear the happiness in your voice. I can hear, brother. This might sound a bit, like,
Pause. I don't know what you're gonna say, but I think I know what you're gonna say.
no, no. This might sound a bit, you know, what's the word for it? Uh, Genius like, right? Genius like. But I can hear the freedom in your voice,
Mm,
bro. Like you really feel free, brother. And you know, I met you last year, right?
mhm.
I think you just came out of the blue like a Pokemon. Like, who's this dude, Johnny?
I remember it was in the summer. The summer of
it,
2022. Yeah, July, I think.
it was in the summer, bro, July, August. Brother was sending in super chats. Brother was, engaged. I'm like, this brother. I remember I mentioned to Theo when we were on a live stream, like, this brother is up next, man. He's come out of nowhere, and you from there to now, you've increased your freedom aspects, which is incredible, brother. If that's a the correct term. You were also in my Python class. You were in my first ever Python class, brother, and you were a great student, brother. Do you want to break down for the brothers, right? Um, the Python class, you know, how that changed you, what you learned from it, and how that even gave you more freedom, brother, as a IT bro, as a passport bro. Because there's solutions here on this channel. If brothers are telling other brothers that IP doesn't offer solutions, those brothers ain't got a goddamn clue what they're talking about, bruv. Y'all ain't got a goddamn clue what you're talking about, mate. What are you talking about, mate? Go on, Johnny.
I second that. I really do because there's a lot of YouTube channels out there where the guys are talking about the problems from sun up to sundown, but not a lot of channels offering solutions. And you and Theo are offering solutions. I mean, just turning the clock back all the way to late 2021 when I first even met Theo in person at the first Manosphere conference, and he got me excited about IT, got me excited about getting certs, even just spending time with him and talking with him off and on, just it 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 really set my mind on a different trajectory in terms of remote work, like staying in tech, remote work, traveling abroad, but still working and being able to maintain both, facilitate both, right? And just taking advantage of the IT opportunities that are out there. So, to putting yourself in a position where, you know, you're you don't have to go looking for jobs. You don't have to go looking for attention from recruiters. The recruiters are coming to you and finding you, just from talking with Theo and being in his class, excuse me, and getting a couple of AWS certs, getting a few projects under my belt, updating my LinkedIn, that already got a bunch of recruiters looking my way, reaching out to me. You know what I mean? I mean, just like night and day, like night and day. Before, they weren't really looking my way, even though I had years of experience as an engineer at the company I was working for. They weren't salivating over me. You know, fast forward after those two certs, spending more time watching your channel and then participating in your first Python course. And here's the thing with Python. I was always aware of I had always been aware of Python since I think I wanted to say 2015, 2016, but I was kind of afraid of it. Um, Kind of scared of it, intimidated by it, because to me it was just this mysterious black box. And I said, if I really want to go to the next level and be comfortable, you know, in the IT space, I can't not learn this language. I can't not know this language. Even some of my coworkers that I used to work with back in 2015, 2016, they were saying, hey, if you know Python, you can combine whatever it is you're doing in your job with Python. It sets you apart from so many other people. It sets you apart from so many other employees in the workforce. Okay. And it's almost like you shine. You've got that glimmer on you that recruiters, when they see you, they're like, oh, I got to give this person an opportunity, because not only can they handle and manage and complete these projects, but they also know this language, Python, right? Which underpins so much automation, brothers. If you're not aware, like, well, really, I think you can use Python to do almost anything. I think personally, from what I've seen other people at my job do, to what I've seen you do, IP, to what I've seen, just in cloud, Python is like the gateway to almost what look like endless possibilities. And it's probably sounds like I'm bigging it up a lot, but I mean, I've seen how it's made like my job easier from what other people have done at my job. But then going through your course and then unpacking how powerful it is, learning strings, learning numbers, you know understanding for loops, while loops, you know what I mean. um Learning to write certain pockets of code uh, that automate certain other things, right? After going through that class, I was not intimidated by Python anymore. I even started playing around with it in the role that I have now, and just like doing simple automation, like automating data roll up. Like I can use the language combined with Jump, which is pretty much a a statistical and plotting software package that we use at my job. And I can combine Python and Jump to automate data rollup, analysis, all of that. And what it does is it saves me a ton of time. Otherwise, I have to do a bunch of things manually. But with one simple Python script, I can I can take like a 3 or 4 hour task and reduce it to 15 minutes, 10 minutes. And you know what that does? I mean, that just you can either leave work early or you can get 2, 3 more projects done. And what that does is that sets you apart from your other colleagues who don't know how to Python, who don't know how to code, right? And then you're exceeding expectations at your job, you're above average, you're more likely to be considered for a promotion, all of that jazz. So, yeah, I went through your course. It was what I think it was a 4 or 5 month, probably 5, 6 month course. We started in like I think November of 2022, finished in like mid-April of 2023. Uh, we were consistent 2, Sometimes the classes were 1 hour, sometimes they were two, 2.5, but they were always deep, rich, um, had depth to them. You assigned homework assignments, you corrected homework assignments, you reviewed mistakes in class, you challenged us intellectually in order to understand what we were doing. And you encouraged other people in the class to correct other people's mistakes. So you got us kind of working together, which kind of reminded me of the classes that I took with Theo, because he would do something similar. He would so he would do a lot of teaching, but then after a while, um, he would, if a brother had a problem on a particular project, he would enlist the help of other members in the class that kind of already knew that or might have already known the answer, right? And he'd get that brother to kind of teach or walk the other brother along towards the solution. So you you kind of did something similar where you encouraged this group, this group synergy, group teamwork, group project work, right? I think we're all familiar with it. We've had group projects in college, team projects at work, right? And it's no different with these classes. When we work together and we teach each other, it really helps to cement those concepts. And then then it becomes a part of you, because if you have to teach it to another brother, you have to really kind of know it. It forces you to know it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I got a lot out of your class, man. And when I started trying to mix it with some of the AWS projects that you can kind of play around with on Udemy, right? And some of like the DevOps courses. And then once I complete like a project, I put like a little blurb on LinkedIn. Man, like the recruiters, man, they pay attention to that stuff, man. You get even more recruiters coming at you. Oh, you know Python, or you know this, you know that, here's a job description. Please reach out to me at your earliest convenience. So this stuff is real, guys. Like if you're on the fence about um, joining his Python tier, getting into his Python course, I think we still got what, 3-4 days before it closes, IP, right?
Correct.
Guys,
Yes.
guys, don't, I'm telling you, don't wait. Time waits for no man. Time waits for no man. And here's the thing. We can spend all day listing out all of the reasons why brothers are in the state that they're in from a community standpoint. We've had a lot come up against us, but we got guys like Theo and IP that are providing us solutions, okay? Providing us paths, trajectories that can literally change your life and allow you to live the kind of life that you want, okay? You can it's possible to, I mean, growing up, I never imagined I would make six figures, right? Never imagined in my life I would make six figures. Even after getting a PhD in chemistry, never imagined I would make six figures. Um, And when I started making six figures, I was like, man, like I feel really lucky. I didn't anticipate I was going to make this much money. I'm so glad that I'm making this much money. I feel really, really lucky. Um, and it was so hard to come across other people that made that kind of money. But then like I came across Theo, and then I and then he talked about how he was able to make multiples multiples of like what I make, right? And then he the blueprint on how to be able to do what he's doing. And it guys guys it is, you can make almost any brother, if you really want to, can make six figures. You can make six figures. IP just had a stream the other day on some guy making 300K, IT plus the Python that he's teaching. This is very doable, guys. This is very, very doable. Before, it seemed like completely out of reach, only relegated to people, with either a bunch of degrees or working in finance or working in law or working in medicine, and you've got to get all these, and you got to go to school for this long and take out all of these loans, yada yada yada, or you got to work on Wall Street in order to make six figures and you know live the kind of life that you want. These guys make it so feasible. IP and Theo make it so feasible. There's you now you there's no excuse. There's no excuse if you don't take advantage of this. That's on you. So I would encourage every brother out there, if you're not sure about whether or not to sign up for Theo's classes. I mean, if you didn't make it to the Manosphere conference, you're probably gonna have to wait until the next one, right? But at you you still have an opportunity to take IP's Python course. And I'm telling you, even Python alone without cloud, if you know Python, if you have an advanced or even an intermediate grasp of Python, that's going to get people looking at you. Python sets you apart. Python is Knowing Python is a skill, and people pay for that. People pay for that skill. So don't hesitate. Sign up for his class, and just uh, another thought here. He For what he's teaching you, he could be charging so much more money. If brothers only knew, like both Theo and IP could be charging a ton of money for what they're showing you, because you have to understand what they're showing you is worth. It's worth so it's I can't really put a figure on it, because it allows you to make a crazy amount of money, and it allows you to work remote. Okay, it gives you access to a skill that can take you from wherever you are in the states to anywhere you want in the world. You just have to be willing to work at it. And whatever he's charging on the Python tier, which I'm sure is well below what he should be charging, it is worth it, hands down.
Amazing breakdown. Amazing breakdown. Thank you, bro. Fantastic. Brothers, get on the Python course. Spaces are filling up. And if you miss out on the signups, I will not be increasing the head count. That is it. You have a couple more days left. If you miss it, you miss it. I've warned you and I've told you that is it. So let's carry on, bro. This is an awesome live stream. We're breaking down Chile to an absolute T here, brothers. We're gonna get you brothers set up there to succeed in Chile. So wait, I'm gonna come out to the woman part after, right? I want to know more about overall the overall aspects of Chile, right? So the
Mhm.
people itself, brother, right? How are the people like, particularly towards brothers? Are these people very happy, vibrant people, or are they like closed off, like the Europeans in Germany? Break it down for us, brother. How are the people like?
Mm, I think that's a good question. Um, and I think the answer is interesting as well, and it speaks to just um, this confluence that you find uh, there in Chile, because it's still a Latin American country, right? Those are Latinos and Latinas, right? So there is that bit of warmth there, right? But there's a European slant to it, if you will. So I've been to London, I've been to, I think, three cities in Germany: Berlin, Frankfurt, Munich. I'd say by far everywhere I've been, Europeans are the coldest. It just, especially the Western Europeans, they're just not as yeah, they're just not as warm and festive, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as like, say, people that I've met in East Africa or people that I've met in South America. Um, the people in Chile, like the waiters and the waitresses that I interacted with, they weren't like, so I wouldn't say, like, on a scale from 1 to 10, like, in terms of warmth, Uh, I would say of all the places that I've been, Chileans are probably a little bit on the colder side, right? Both in Colombia, Costa Rica, um, Mexico, Brazil, especially Brazil. They're just very warm, especially Brazil. Brazil, Colombia, very warm. Costa Rica, a little less warm but warm. Mexico, a little less warm but somewhat warm. And then Chilean people, I'd say maybe they're more like lukewarm. You know what I mean? They're not they're not overwhelmingly warm, right? But they're not like super cold. If you walk into a restaurant and you get seated and served, um, some of them will strike up a conversation with you. Hey, are you? So do you live here? Are you traveling? Are you here for work, for leisure? Like, whereas in the states, nobody cares. No one's going to strike up a conversation with you. Oh, are you just passing through? You're traveling, yada yada yada. Um, uh, like in England, I didn't get like a ton of questions like that. People are like, oh, I mean, you're just someone, whatever. Uh, but in Chile, it was just very easy to strike up a conversation with someone, and you don't feel like you're carrying the whole conversation. They're interacting with you too, asking questions as well. And if you want to, ask them, probe them about, what are some spots I should see, places I should check out, they're more than happy to uh, help uh, help guide you in terms of things you can explore about their country, right? So they're not if anyone out there is thinking, they're not going to like you because you're a brother, don't even think that. Don't even think that. Please don't think that. You're someone from the states first and foremost. You're from the West. They automatically put you in that category, in a different category. Oh, this is a you know a person from the United States of America. You know, it might sound, yeah, a little crass, but if they're interacting with me versus, like, say, maybe a random Venezuelan, they're gonna treat me with a lot of warmth and respect. And with the Venezuelan, they might look at them with a side eye. You know what I mean? Simply because I'm a Westerner. Yeah, I'm black. They don't have a lot of black people down there, but they're gonna be receptive. They're gonna be warm. You know, they obviously have respect for the U.S. There's actually a pretty good relationship, I think, between U.S. and Chile, because those folks, the people in Chile, they can actually travel to the U.S. without a visa. Um, so yeah, just fun fact. That's how good the relationship is between the U.S. and Chile. So um, they hear me speaking English in my American accent. They see I'm dressed well. They're they're generally pretty open, receptive. Um, they're not as warm as some Latin Americans, but I'd say they're warmer than, say, some Western Europeans that have run across. Definitely warmer than, you know, the kind of reception you get in the States as a brother. So, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, bro. Next question for you, brother, is transportation. So, how did you move around in Chile, brother? And what's the best mode of transportation for brothers? Is it Uber? Is it the public transportation system? Break it down for us, brother.
So, um, Santiago is a very, very developed uh, city. So, I want you guys to think not only not only Uber and taxis, but they've got buses, they've got a metro, so like a tram or some kind of, I don't know, is it yeah, kind of like a subway, I think. They have some sort of like oh no, it's like a rail, like a sort of like a light rail, if you know what I mean, like they got rail cars, so rail cars, um, buses, uh, Ubers, taxis. Now, where I was able to walk to a lot of places, like I was able to walk to most of the restaurants that I visited, the parks that I visited. I took an Uber to the museum because I was staying in Las Condes and it was in Vitacura, so I took a an Uber there, but I actually walked all the way back, simply because it was a nice day and I just felt like walking. The mall was walking distance. I would say if you're going down there, because Uber is, if you're bringing the American dollar, or the pound, the British pound, or the euro, I mean, why not just why not just Uber? It's you can afford it. Likely you can afford it. But if you want to save money, you could probably take the metro. Obviously everything is in Spanish, obviously, so FYI. But you've got a number of like a plethora of methods of transportation available to you. But I relied mostly on Ubering around, walking, and their light rail tram system seemed pretty safe and developed to where I would have felt comfortable taking it if I wanted to. Um, yeah.
Awesome. Great breakdown there. Thank you, bro. Now, what about the food there in Chile, brother? Is the food tasty? What's the best cuisine there? What were you eating there? Is the food cheap? Do you recommend the food for brothers? Break it down for us, bro.
They have a variety of cuisine down there actually because you find a sort of like a mix of cultures and ethnicities there. You can find decent Italian food there. You can find um, decent Peruvian food there. You can find authentic Chilean food there. I think the authentic Chilean food, um, I like it. I'm partial to Mediterranean food, Turkish food, Greek food, gyros, pitas, um, lamb. Like I love that stuff. Uh, and in second place is probably Mexican food and Thai food. So those are always going to be like the top cuisines to me personally. But um, that notwithstanding, I actually liked the Chilean food that was down there. It's kind of like it's like so I don't know if you've been to Argentina, but I know you've talked to guys that have gone to Argentina, and they're like big on steak
Mm.
in in Argentina. So I caught a little bit of that while I was in Chile. Um, but like it's like a they're like they're somewhat big on steak, but not quite as big on steak as like say they're Argentinians. Uh, they had like unique they had like their own unique dishes. I wasn't able to try all of them, but what I did try, I kind of liked. So, yeah, in terms of cuisine, like I'm not knocking it. I'm down for all of it. But if you go and cuisine is a question mark for you, I wouldn't worry because they offer so many different kinds of cuisine. You're bound to find something that you like or something that you're partial to. There's gonna be Mexican food down there. There's gonna be Peruvian food down there, Italian food down there, because there's people that go there and set up shop there too from different countries. So it's sort of like a mix. It's not London. I've been to London, and I gotta say some of the best Italian food I have ever had. I had in London. Even some of the best Indian food I've ever had. I've had in London, which is crazy, right? But because London, it's such a mix of all these different cultures. Lots of people go to London. Some of people they take their food, their culture with them, and they reproduce it in a city like London. You kind of have that a little bit in Santiago, a little bit, where you've got people from different countries. They come there, they set up shop, and that's how you get these little Italies, these little Perus, little this, little that, and they're gonna have like the kind of cuisine that's gonna suit you. But yeah, even the authentic native Chilean food, um, I kind of liked. It's it's a little Americanized too, like with the fries and all that. I think they call them papas. But um, yeah, yeah, no, I generally enjoy the cuisine.
Amazing breakdown. Thank you, bro. And yeah, you're right. Steak is very big there. Many years ago in the UK, there's this sort of cuisine that's very popular in Chile. I think it's like a steak burger or steak sandwich. It's got
Yes, yes.
like it's got steak, thick bread, like some sort of green vegetable. It was very
Hmm.
tasty. Did you have that in Chile?
I saw it on a ton of signs. I was kind of what's the word? I was like, oh, that looks different. I've never had that before. I'm not sure if I'm ready. Not sure if I'm ready to take that leap. Steak with bread, like, or like, I guess, like sitting in a bun or whatever. I thought it was between that and steak and fries and eggs, and so I opted with the steak, fries, and eggs because that was a little more familiar. I wasn't feeling as adventurous, but it looked good, and I saw that on some of the local Chilean food restaurants that were near my condo. So shucks to me for not trying it, but next time I go, I will.
Awesome, bro. Um, did you feel safe there, bro? Is it a safe city, a safe country, in Santiago, Chile, brother?
Oh man, completely. I wore my so I bought a low end luxury watch when I was in Vancouver, Canada. And I took it with me. I took it with me to Santiago, and I said, I'm going to wear this. I'm going to wear this because I really believe that Santiago is going to be safe. Where I'm staying is going to be safe. I'm going to be in the suburbs. I think I'm going to be fine. And I wore that watch, I want to say 3 4 days out of my whole trip, with nice shoes, nice pants, nice jacket. I wore it in the restaurants. I wore that watch in the cigar lounge that I visited. Um, I wore it, just walking the streets, completely safe. No, n- n- I didn't see any sketchy people, man. It's very safe. It's very safe where I stayed in Las Condes. It was safe in Vitacura, safe in Providencia. Um, I heard that it was a little unsafe around downtown, a little insecure, but I didn't go. I stayed away from like the main downtown area. But in the places where I stayed, it was completely safe, completely safe. Um, Not a care in the world, really.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, bro. Shout out to Mr. It's That Time for the $2 super chat. He says here, greetings, IP. Greetings to you too, bro. Much appreciated for the support. Shout out to KW Leeds America. Salute to you, brother, for the $199 super chat. Can Python help with a finance job? I'll be real with you, brother. I don't work in finance. I'm an IT bro. Okay, so I can't answer that question. I'm sure, brother, if you do a couple Google searches, it could probably give you all the info you need. I'm an IT dude, bro, so I can't help when it comes to finance or anything else, bro. Um, Shout out to Mr. J Bones for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. What's up, IP? Great stream. Team Latina represent. J Bones back in the building. Hope you're well, J Bones. Hope you're well.
Yes.
The legend, man, J Bones. It's been a minute, brother. Um, I'm sure he's doing great things as well. We appreciate you, J Bones. Thank you, bro. OG member, J Bones. So, brothers, if you're new to the channel, J Bones, OG member, press A1 in the live stream chat if you remember J Bones. He's been here from the very beginning. Salute to you, bro. Thank you very much. So, um,
I'm
next
also on
question
Team
for you.
Latina. I'm also on Team Latina. I just wanna, Jay Bones. I'm giving you a pound, okay, in the air, okay, an air pound, okay, bro. Team Latina, bro. Team Latina. We're gonna get IP. We're gonna get Ramel. We're gonna get Dimswood, 007 dude. We're gonna sway them. If we can at least make it difficult, at least make it difficult for them to choose between Team Latina and Team Asia, we're gonna do that. Because I remember I saw the first debate. I wasn't there live. I saw it years after. I know Team Asia won. I know, but I'm telling you, Latinas, they will hold brothers down, man. They will hold brothers down. They're bringing a lot of heat. They're bringing a lot of love. They make good mothers. They make good wives. Okay, they will give any brand of woman in this world a run for their money, man. I'm telling you, Team Latina NIP. You saw it live in Panama, bro. You saw it in Panama, bro.
Facts. Maybe we should do a Panama versus Chile stream in the future, bro. If you're interested in that, bro, that would be, oh, that's gonna crush the
That could be a
buildings.
classic. Could be a classic.
Very much indeed, very much indeed, bro. So, now, Mr. Mr. Johnny, right? I've got so much questions here. I still need to break down the woman part. So, racism, obviously, I'll be real with you. Latin America, when it comes to race, colorism, there's problems there. I don't like to cap. I don't like to walk around the problem. There is some problems there when it comes to colorism, darker skin, racism, African descent. It is what it is. And may that change in the future. I hope it changes. In Chile, Santiago, brother, did you feel any sort of racism, any animosity? How were the local black people in Chile treated? How
Mm,
they're living? Are they living great lives there? Are they wealthy? Uh, Give us the whole racism experience there, brother.
mm, mm. It's a good question, and it's something that I think about too, because I know it exists. Um, and you can kind of catch snippets of it in the news, in terms of just how some of the countries leaders in Latin America might refer to people of color. I know in Brazil and in Colombia, like the darker skinned peoples they do have it harder. They do. Like there's no sugarcoating that or mistaking that. Um, with regards to Chile specifically, um, especially where I stayed, there weren't a lot of people of color there. I do remember seeing I believe was maybe one Chilean that looked, kind of, I want to say, maybe about my complexion, and I think she was with a lighter skinned Chilean dude, right? Um, so I you know I you know I tend to think that there's probably some people that probably harbor uh, uh, negative preconceived notions about darker skinned peoples that live there, right? That conduct business there, um, but there don't seem to be there doesn't seem to be like a large population of them there in general. Um, in Chile, I've heard the same or something similar in Argentina. There just aren't a lot of darker skinned folks. Now, I've surfed the web, and I've been on YouTube, and I've seen like interviews of like brown, like let's say brown Argentinians talk about how they're it's still a problem. It's still a thing. Racism is still a problem, but it's also a problem here in the U.S. It's a problem in other parts of the world. I would going based off of that and what I know in general, it's probably to some degree an issue in Chile, right? Because I mean, you know, white white folks, that's the kind of programming and timing that they're on. But what I will say is if you're a darker skinned person, but you're Western and you're from the US or the UK, they're going to look at that first before they look at that I think is going to supersede your skin color to some degree, because they're going to be like, oh, whoa, he's from the United States, or he's from the UK, or he's from Canada. Um, so he's he's probably got money. I mean, he's here, he's traveling, he's probably got money. He comes from a good country that's equal to or greater than our country in terms of opportunities, wealth, XYZ. And so I think you're gonna be treated like that. You're gonna be treated accordingly. Um, I honestly, I think they're gonna look at you and receive you like someone from like an emissary from a well-to-do, nice, wealthy country. Now, how they treat their own people that are, say, your complexion, right? Dark, like, my complexion, you know, brown, black, might not be great. Might not, based on what I've heard, based on what I've read about other um, white Latin American countries. So, yeah,
No,
it's probably there. It's probably there.
thank you for the breakdown, bro. And this is why, I keep saying I'm the best passport bros channel. We're not here to lie to you, brothers. We're gonna give you the whole experience from all the positives, all the negatives, everything, man, to ensure that you are fully prepared to wherever country you're going to, man. Other channels will sell you a dream. It's perfect, blah blah blah. You go there, you're thinking it's a different world out here, bruv. You know, I'm telling you, man. This channel is, is no, brother. Do you know what? I remember. I remember last year, right? I won't name names, but I remember last year I had a consultation with a brother. He was telling me he was watching this other channel, right, similar to mine. I won't name any names. I'm not here to start beef. I don't do that, you know. And he was saying that this channel they were speaking about a country, right, and they were saying this that blah blah blah, and he went there, right? And he's like, IP, it was the complete opposite. Your channel, right, was the one that, you know, sold me on game as to how it truly goes down. But the other channel, right, similar to mine, I'm not gonna name any names, was selling him a dream. It's like IP, man. Like you're really out here guiding brothers in the right light. Um, so now let's switch it back to the woman's part, brother.
Mm, mm.
So
Let's do that.
I need to break down Chilean women to an absolute T because I'm not. This is my first time even coming across, even doing the stream, a new country for us, brother. So would you say, brother, right? Chilean women are good looking on average?
Mm. On average, is the average Chilean woman good looking?
Hmm.
Like in the face? We can break it down. We can break it down to an absolute T. We could start with the face, and then we can move to everything else, everything else. But so I'll tell you, man, I've been to 5 continents, 12, 13 countries. I've been around, man. I'm just telling you. I got to preface it with all this, okay? Um if you want me to compare Chilean women to all the other women that I've interacted with and seen come across in my travels, right?
Hmm.
I would say on average, just in the face, um, on average, they're okay. They're okay. There's some ones that shine, in my opinion. Yes. Um, but yeah, on average, yeah, I just describe them as mid, very mid in the face for talking the face. I'm
Okay.
being very honest, bro. Being very honest. Because I've been to Colombia, bro, and I've been to Brazil, and I've been to Africa, and man, you can't unsee what you've seen once you've been to those countries. I'll be honest with you. Even I've been to Mexico, man. And no knock to my white Latinas, my white Latinas. No, not trying to knock them too hard. Not trying to knock them too hard. Okay, but they're I mean they're okay. They're okay. But they are not they're not Brazilian. They're not Colombian. They're not Mexican. They're certainly not. The if I am even if I mean if I could don't if I had to compare them to what I saw in Vancouver, it wouldn't be right. It just wouldn't be.
Ooh.
I'm not even. If you don't make me do that to Chile. Don't make me do that to Chile. don't, look. We don't cap on this channel, right? We don't cap
Facts.
on this channel.
We don't cap, bro. We don't cap. Break it down.
Now, that's not to say there aren't some gems in Chile. There are some gems in Chile. Um, especially yeah, yeah. I saw some gems. I saw like sevens, eights in the face. And then when you combine it with the way they dress, how they carry themselves, they're elegant. Um, you know, and the thing is like if a brother's searching for a wife, you probably don't want to shoot for an 8 or a 9, right? You want to shoot for probably an adjustable 6. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a 7, because you're probably gonna get more in the way of submission and femininity and cooperation. If you shoot for a 9 or a 10, there might be some headaches that come with that, right? So if you're looking for a wife, okay, and you're willing to compromise and looks a bit, okay, but get some cooperation, Chile might be for you. There's a lot of average looking girls. There's some gems. Um, but if we're going just based off of woman and what countries have like a monopoly on beauty, right? Both in the face and in the body. Chile wouldn't even be top 5 for me. Maybe not,
Damn.
probably not even top 10 in my opinion. Just in my opinion. Okay. Now, I'm a brother, I got my own tastes. The woman in Africa, the woman in Brazil, Colombia, some of the women that I saw in Mexico and Guadalajara, just real cute. You know, some of them got body. The woman in these other countries that I've been to, but in Chile, those white Latinas, they got that European slant on them, so they got that slim build, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
Mm.
There's some iron board Beckys out there. Okay, just you could iron a shirt. You could iron a shirt on them. Okay, you could press your pants on them, brother. Okay. Um, if you want peaks and valleys, you might want to go back to Colombia. You might want to go back to Brazil. You know, if you want, more pretty faces, you might want to go back to Mexico. Might want to go back to Colombia. That's not to say there aren't pretty women in Chile. There are. It's just that there's not a large volume, if you will, of you know women that strike you in terms of beauty, in terms of body, right? Because they've got that European slant on them. Plus, white Latinas, they don't age as well. They don't age as well as the other Latinas. They got a little bit of melanin in them. Okay, so you've got that working against them. Plus, they smoke. Okay, about 25% of them smoke. So when you smoke, plus white Latina, you don't age well. You got a shelf life. You really do. But they dress well. They dress well. They dress in a way that suits their profile, that suits their physique and build. They do have nice long hair. They have nice long hair. I give that to them. Um, but yeah, yeah, just they don't really rev my motor, so to speak. That's not to say there aren't some gyms down there, but they don't really get my motor going like some of the women in these other countries that I've been to. So maybe I should have gotten to Chile first, and then Colombia and Brazil and Tanzania and Mexico afterwards, and Vancouver afterwards. I mean, even if a brother goes to Vancouver, you're spoiled. You're spoiled.
Hey, so I'm guessing, hey, Vancouver has taken your heart, huh? And I told you, brother, that I was right about Vancouver, huh? I told you,
Bro.
brothers, man. Vancouver is a different planet, different world, man. In the Western countries, it's the only Western country where you know it is a part of the matrix, but it's just different out there, bro. The vibes, the woman out there, the fact that as to how you are treated as a brother in Vancouver, in a Western country. I've never been in a place where Asian women were checking for me. I'm from the UK. Sorry, side note here. I'm from the UK, right? These Asian chicks in the UK, right? They don't even look my way. In Vancouver, right? First day checking, absolutely checking, and the brother experienced that too. Um, get into IT, brothers. You know, get into IT. We keep telling you, brothers, get into IT and go and experience what we're talking about, brothers. It ain't a game out here. So, next question for you, bro, is feminism. Is
Mm.
feminism a problem out there in Chile?
Um, is feminism a problem? You don't. So I would say like when I was there, I only what I could see, what I could tell, um, is that from where I was standing, it looked like only really the positive parts of feminism were on display. Like you had women working, plenty of women working alongside men. Uh, you know, looking like women conducting business deals right alongside men. You know, uh, equality, all of that jazz. But I still saw quite a few couples, man. Like in the mall, I saw quite a few couples. Like when like here in the states, like I see you. I mean, yeah, the you mostly see the negative impacts of feminism on display here in the states, right? A lot of a lot. So yeah, women are empowered, blah blah blah. But then you know, you have this whole I don't need no man. I'm independent. I'm strong. Okay. I don't need.
I'm strong. I'm strong.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly the attitude that you come up against, right? But in Chile, I didn't quite get that vibe. Y- you don't get this, vibe where they don't want or need a man. Because I mean, when I would go out to eat at restaurants, I did see some groups of women that were just like out having dinner, but I saw quite a few couples too. So it looks like so you know how I don't know if you heard, but you're in the U.S. You have this epidemic of men not looking for a date. They're not even bothered
Mm.
looking for a date because they just already know these women out here in the West are not really dateable, um, and they're not checking for the average guy or even this above average guy. Um, they're just they're just on their they're on their feminism pretty much, right? But in Santiago, you don't get that vibe. You don't get that vibe. Like the dating culture still seems pretty active. Uh, you see a lot of couples out and about. You see some folks holding hands. You see, and like when I was at the mall, I still saw more families there at the mall than I did, here in the States. So I'll compare them like on a spectrum. In the US, I don't see a lot of families just out and about walking, men, women, babies, like in strollers, that sort of thing. In the time I spent in Colombia, I see families everywhere, everywhere. Like the family structure is still intact. You see a lot of regular guys with a lot of women, you know? Like you see decent looking, great looking women with just like regular decent guys, even average guys. Now in Chile, it's not quite as much as what I saw in Colombia, but it's still more than what I saw in the U.S. If that makes sense. I believe there's definitely feminism in Santiago, for sure. A lot of women working, right? You do see, I guess girls, groups of girls out and about, you know, maybe doing their whole girls' nights out thing, going out to eat, yada yada. You do see some, girls taking selfies, so the whole Instagram thing is there. Some degree of self-absorption, blah blah blah. But it's not like it's not like reached stupid levels like it has in the US and in the UK, if that makes sense, you know?
Amazing, amazing breakdown, bro. We are at the 2 hour mark, bro, and there's some questions I got asked for you, brother, in regards to women, brother.
Keep going,
Um,
bro. Keep
keep
going.
keep going.
Yep, I'm doing it for you, for the brothers, for the culture. We got to do it.
Fantastic, bro. So, brother, let's aim for another hour more. How does that sound, bro?
Let's do it. I'm game.
That's awesome. Appreciate you, Johnny, man. Shout out to Mr. J Bones again for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Most Chilean women are very average, unfortunately. Do you know what, right? That kind of shocks me, the statement by Johnny, because back in the UK, right, when I was served the delicious, right, mecha oishi, which means very delicious, in Japanese, um, steak burger, right? She was a dime, bruv. This cute, petite Chilean chick serving me, giving me a nice smile. I think she was checking for me, but that's another discussion. And I was like, okay, I'm thinking, okay, Chilean women must be really beautiful. But Johnny and Jay Bones have kind of shared my reality, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Come on, bro.
Yeah, man. And like, and here's the thing, right? I like to think that they do, they can shine in other ways because like those what I got the vibe that I got just while I was down there, like there's a strong value on education, strong value on, working in the bit, working in business, just, working at your career. And the thing is, if a woman delves too far into that, then it can kind of disqualify her a little bit, right? But um I think I think some women can find a balance where they can go about, get their education, work, get into their career, but they still want to date. They still want to find a guy. They're not out here, saying that, they don't need a man, or that they don't want to spend time with a man. They don't eventually want to get married. Um so uh yeah, I would say, yeah, they don't they're not gonna beat the Brazilian. In my opinion, bro, I'm just keeping it a buck here. They're not gonna beat the Brazilian woman and the Colombian woman in mass, okay? Um, but you do find a lot of those women, they're educated. Um, they want to build careers, but I think to some degree they still want to be compliant a little bit with you know the men that are in their lives. And so, if a brother's looking for that, if a brother wants to, you know, if a brother wants to sign up for and do the whole partnership thing, there's a demographic of women in Latin America that can kind of facilitate that. Um, you know, i- Whereas, in Colombia and in Brazil, it might be a little bit harder to find that. I mean, you would probably have to go, find those suburban pockets and find the women in that class that are also classy and educated and, about their career and all that. But um, in Santiago, um, while they don't necessarily take the cake when it comes to looks, like the Venezuelans, the Brazilians, the Colombians, they have that on lock, bro. They just have that on lock. It is what it is. They have that on lock. The Chileans are, average to, maybe above average sometimes. But they can shine in other ways. And what I like to think in general is that, if a woman, is not doesn't rank as high in looks, if she makes up for it in the way of submission, femininity, cooperation, it can still be a win long term if you're looking for like a wife, you know.
Amazing breakdown. Thank you, bro. Shout and Jay Bones, man. I know you're a huge Nas fan, Jay Bones, right? Have you heard Nas's new album that came out? Classic. I think it's a classic, bro. Nas is spitting Hit Boy on the beats, on the drums. It's a classic, brother. Let me know in the live stream chat, Jay Bones, if you heard Nas' new album. And any other brothers in the live stream chat, let me know if you've heard Nas' new album. IP International Passport is officially calling Nas the greatest rapper of all time. I don't care if you disagree. I'm saying it. Nas is the GOAT rapper. End of. I don't care. I don't care what anyone says. Nas is the GOAT. If you mad, you mad.
I mean,
Shout. Don't say Drake, bro.
okay. I won't. I was thinking maybe Biggie, but I'm from the East Coast, so I'm biased. You know what I'm saying? All good.
Oh man, maybe we got to do a live stream one day about who's the best rapper of all time. Shout out to Mr. Almighty Reed for the $2 super chat. I like the white Mexicans in North Mexico. Go visit GDO. What's GDO, bro?
Guadalajara, Guadalajara, I
Ah,
think is what he's talking about. Um, Although Guadalajara, that's in the Jalisco state. I don't know if that would be considered northern Mexico. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like when I think of northern Mexico, I'm thinking of like, Tijuana, Juarez, um, yeah, just even Monterrey is like north pretty far, like much farther north than Guadalajara. But see, like even I think he's throwing Mexico out there because Mexico has a lot of beautiful women.
hmm.
They they definitely got they definitely bringing some heat. Like when I was in Guadalajara, I saw some fine Mexican women, man. I
You ain't tell me
I
you've been in
did.
Mexico, bro. And you ain't done a stream on the channel from Mexico.
Well, you've already had Mexico done 2, 3 times, so I figured,
Nah, we
why.
gotta do it, bro. Next month, yeah? Next month, bring that done, bro, please. Bring that in, 'cause the more the merrier. How does that sound, bro?
um, yeah, yeah. Let's plan it. Let's plan it. I was there. I was only there for a week, I think, and this was before. This was before the whole, before you set my system up. So I was like taking a risk back then. Like I think I mean, they knew I was probably in Mexico, but um, I was working from there. I was working from there. So yeah, yeah, we could do something about Guadalajara. There's some good looking women in Guadalajara, and the Mexican women are nice, man. They're very nice and open.
Awesome. Let's not give it all away, bro. We need to
Okay.
actually uh, appreciate you, Almighty Reef. Thank you, bro. Shout out to Mr. Baba Tunde Aloye for the 7.99 Australian dollar super chat. Appreciate you, Baba Tunde. Thank you, bro. Shout out to UIP. Really enjoying your streams. Thank you, bro. Salute. Thank you for the support. Send you some DMs on Instagram. Okay, brother. I will check that after the live stream on IG. Thank you, bro. Much appreciate, bro. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So let's carry on. So, brother, next question for you, brother, is so would you say like to communicate with these Chilean women, right? They say that the Chilean chick we really like, Spanish is important to know. Or is
Yeah.
English okay, brother? Or does the average Chilean woman not know English?
So I would say, mm, maybe to some degree it might depend on where you are. So when when I was so there's where I spent most of my trip, and then there's other spots just in the country of Chile. Um, so where I was, because you've got a vibrant restaurant scene, you've got a lot of people that are either of university age or just slightly older, right? You're likely to run across you're more likely to run across someone that does know English or that can converse in English to a limited degree. Um, but I would still say, by and large, if you want to be able to move around with ease, I would know some Spanish. At least, elementary proficiency to intermediate proficiency would go a long way, be a tremendous help. Um, Now, if you were to go out way out, away from the city, you're probably definitely going to need to know it. If you go to I think I think the city's called Valparaiso. Val- yeah, Valparaiso, Valparaiso. I think that's a coastal city in Chile. Um, that's less visited by tourists, but my Uber driver highly recommended I go there and check out just like um, um, the this coastal beach town, because it's nice. It's got a nice uh, beach. There's an influx of European descended Chileans there. If you go out there, you're probably better off knowing the language to some degree. I mean, the short answer is learn it, but don't feel hopeless if you don't know any English. I'm sorry, any Spanish, because I mean, like if you're trying to get food or whatever, um, I'd say there might be 30-40% chance that the person that is waiting on you might know a little bit of English, or they've got menus in English. Actually, quite a few restaurants will give you like a menu in English. So like they know that they get. I mean, they get foreigners from the U.S., from Canada, from the UK. So because of that, they've made some. They've taken some steps to kind of accommodate you there. But in my personal opinion, right? I would just learn a little bit of Spanish. I would just learn. Don't be lazy, guys. Just learn a little bit of Spanish. It'll get you a long way. Um, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, bro. Would you say Chilean women are submissive, brother?
Mm, submissive. From what I know, from what I've gathered, just from the vibe I got, like if you're talking submissive, like they're gonna bathe you, put lotion on you. Their long, hard day at work. I don't know if they're. I don't think so. I don't think they're that quite submissive. I think they're more of they might be more of like looking for a partner. You know what I mean? More like they want to deal with you on equal footing. I mean, because they've got the European slant on them. Um, it's a little more westernized in general. I would say Santiago, just probably like Buenos Aires is a little more westernized than say, you know, a place like or like spots in Colombia or spots in Peru or spots in Brazil. So you're moving in terms of traditionality across the sexes. You're gonna find that that's less prevalent in a place like Chile versus say Colombia or Brazil.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, bro. What about femininity? That's very important, for women to have that feminine essence. Are
Mhm.
Chilean women feminine?
Um, like the few that I dealt with, the few that I talked to, like in the restaurants, at the gym, um, in the condo, they've got that they still have that feminine quality about them. Like, and remember, my reference point uh is the masculine woman in the States. Okay. So yeah, I'd say the Chilean women, they're more feminine. They're more like they're not trying to come off hard and aggressive. They still want to. I think I would say they still tend to want to flow and move around you. Want to be the water around the rock that you are. Um, they're not masculine like I'd say the woman in the States, the one the that boss chick, boss babe vibe. I want to call the shots and I want to dominate you and compete with you in every which way. I just got a whole lot less of that. I didn't really feel that um, in Santiago. No, so I'd say they're feminine.
Awesome. So, would you say they're wifeable, brother? Do they have wifeable qualities? Cooking, cleaning,
Mm.
being wives. Did you notice that those kind of qualities from Chilean women, brother?
cooking, cleaning, are they wifeable? Um, so yeah, when I think about that, I'm like, does she carry herself with grace, class, elegance? Does she dress conservatively? Um, and you know, does she take a back seat when the man wants to do something or take charge? And I think on the whole, overall, I still get that vibe from the Chilean woman. I wouldn't say it's quite as strong as the vibe that I've gotten from, woman in Colombia or maybe woman in Brazil. Um, but based off of my interactions with the woman there, and I even know uh, a guy that I went to graduate school with. He ended up marrying uh, a Chilean American girl, and so this girl, her family's from Chile, right? I think she was born in the States, but her family was from Chile. Her mom and dad were born in Chile. Okay, she went to Columbia University like he did. She then went and got her law degree. Okay, got a job. I think, yeah, working as a lawyer um, in um, in the DMV area, and he also went up there, and ended up working for the DoD. They both got married. They both have a child. I've never heard I've never heard one negative thing from him about his wife, and she's Chilean American. Okay, so it's like that's I think that's so I would say the short answer is they are wifeable. They still have those values. It's just that they still want to get educated. They still want to have a career, the job, all that jazz. But but they still, I think deep down, I still think they get that pressure from their family. Hey, you do need to settle. You do need to settle down. You do need to find a husband. You need to pick well, and you should have a baby, maybe one or two babies. And this girl that I'm talking about, she's a Chilean American, so she's westernized, but she still found time, throughout her education, getting a law degree, okay, educated at an Ivy League institution, still could get on program with another guy, um, get married and have a kid. And if she can do that, then I know the women that are in Chile today, I'm pretty sure they would definitely do that because they're not even Chilean American. They're just Chilean women, right? So I would say they're wifeable, but they still wanna have their career and education. So it's like they want to have their cake and eat it too a little bit, but they're still wifeable, you know. That's what I would say.
Awesome. Awesome, bro. Now, the topic of body count, brother. Do you feel
Hmm.
like the average Chilean woman has a low body count or high body count? And can
Mm,
we find virgin women out there in Chile?
mm, can we find body counts? Oh, um, I think that's a good question. They don't strike me because when I think of the high body count chicks, they mm, they tend to move the way they move, and like the outward, at least the outwardly signs, you know, dressing provocatively. No dad is in the home. They have a lot of tattoos. They're walking around with all this trauma. Um, uh, they're they're they can't keep a man, uh, but their legs stay open. Uh, I I think it's a little I think it's harder to tell, in my opinion, for me, if there's a lot of them that are walking around with high body counts. I think there's no question they're getting down out there, um, for sure. Because I mean, I spent a little bit of time on some of the dating apps just to see what was going on, right? And there's a lot of women in their 20s and 30s, on dating apps out there. So I think they're out there, they're out there possibly living, Sex in the City lifestyle, right? Sorry, I probably should keep it coded. I don't want to, you know, uh um say the wrong word on the platform, but virgins, I think you might be pushing it. You might be pushing it. Maybe if you got away from Santiago, because see, I tend to think of Santiago as like almost like an American city to some degree because it's modern, it's well developed. You got university women, you've got a lot of working women. Um, they're not necessarily settling down very soon. They tend to be in this respect, they tend to be more westernized where they settle down later, late 20s, early 30s. So, by then, I don't think they're virgins. I highly doubt it. Um, Probably in the more rural areas of Chile, you might find that, but maybe not in Santiago.
Wow. Well, thank you for the honesty, bro. Much appreciated, brother. Um, Going on from there, brother, right? Um, did you go out at all in the nightlife?
Um, yeah, I went out to a few restaurants that night. Went to a cigar lounge. Um, Spent some time at one or two bars, but mostly just as an observer, just to get a vibe of, is this a place I'd want to spend like a month or two? Would I want to come back down here with a crew of my boys? So more
Mhm.
like a recon type of mission, if you will.
And from your observations and doing the recon Max Payne, no, doing the recon Metal Gear Solid type of stealthy recon, bro. And that great game, Metal Gear Solid. Played that back in the day. Um,
Classic, classic.
Classic, right?
Yeah.
Um, so the women that were in the nightlife, brother, right? Um, what kind of women were they? Were these like 304s? Were these like, career women? Were these wifeable women? Break down, the mega solid recon you did for us, bro.
Metal Gear Solid Recon. You're hilarious, bro. Um, they don't. So like again, my reference is like the 304s that I've seen here in the States and how they dress, and how they carry themselves. Loud Keishas and Beckys, their boobs are hanging all out there, tatted up, um, getting wildly drunk and all that. At least where I was, the time, where I spent in Las Condes and Vitacura, Providencia, like these women definitely are, they're definitely at night they're more relaxed, they're in a more relaxed state. They're turning up a little bit, but they're not. They're just, but they're turning up, but they're in a more classy. They still kind of keep it classy, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? They're not like, and they're not overly loud and obnoxious or anything like that. They're very much in control, but they're still having a good time, if that makes sense. Um, if if they are, getting down and throwing their box around, I think it's I think they still care about appearances a little bit more than I think like American women do, in my opinion. Um, and they are around older women to some degree sometimes, like out in the street, right? Um, Sometimes you do see like you'll have like a nice bar or a nice restaurant where it's mostly just like a young crowd, but then like maybe one or two restaurants down, it'll be a restaurant where you have a lot of families dining out too, right? And I don't know if that has an impact on how like the younger people behave, but like it's just like the way they still carry themselves with respect and dignity, even like at night. Now I want to be clear, I didn't go downtown, right? Where, I think there are more clubs downtown, but I didn't want to venture out that way because I had less info about that area in general. I heard it wasn't as secure, and I heard that protests had taken place, off and on in the downtown sector, and I wanted to kind of avoid that. And I think even pre-COVID, there were like quite a few protests in the downtown area to the point where like one of my friends had to cancel his trip to Chile because he wanted to go, but because the situation was so unstable, even outside the airport, he decided to just completely cancel his trip to Chile and move on to Argentina. So I totally avoided like the whole downtown area because I heard that there were still protests going on off and on. But I say that to say this, there are clubs downtown, and I think had I gone, I probably would have gotten a more complete and accurate picture of the nightlife as a whole. And there's probably 304s down there, probably, right? It's just that I didn't I didn't quite catch that because I spent time in like a lot of the classier areas, if that makes sense.
Mm, great breakdown. Thank you, bro. Now, did you cold approach out there, brother?
No, I didn't do any cold approaching. Yeah, because I mean, because I was spent after Columbia and Vancouver. I was,
You
I
know
was,
why you were
I was,
spent?
I was spent, bro. I was spent. I ain't have nothing left to give to the Chilean woman. I'm sorry.
Oh man, did they cold approach you, bro?
No, no, no. Well, I mean, no, they didn't cold approach me. They weren't that bold, even though, I got smiles and looks, and stares. I think I would say overall I got invitations to probably walk up to some of them, right? But because I was spent, I was like, well, it's nice that you're admiring me and you look okay, but I'm not gonna act on anything. Um, That's yeah, they didn't cold approach me. I didn't cold approach them, but I think there's opportunities down there in general. I think if brothers are curious, want to take advantage, there's opportunities down there. Yeah.
Oh, awesome, awesome. So let me ask this, brother, right? From what you were observing, right, doing your recon, um, did you notice that these were materialistic women? Did
Mm.
they want the Gucci bag, the Prada bag, the Armani bag, what they were wearing, what you heard from people? Are these materialistic women like Western women?
There was only one woman that I saw walking around that may have given me that kind of gave me materialistic vibes because she had a couple of department store bags in her hand and she was wearing a lot of um department store merchandise and I she was when I she just she I mean she happened to be kind of walking kind of in my space off and on while I was walking down several blocks, and she stopped at one particular department store and just like ogled the merchandise that was there for like a good 5 minutes. But other than that one woman, I didn't get the overwhelming sense that they were like as materialistic as Western women. Now I think they do like nice things. Just going by the way they dress nice, they dress well. They've got money. They clearly got money. You're not talking about like a bunch of broke Chilean women. Um, but they don't strike me as women that are super materialistic like the woman in the West. But I think they like nice things just going by how they dressed, what they were wearing, watches and jewelry, nice shoes, nice blouses, that sort of thing.
Awesome, awesome. Now, brother, let me ask this right. When it comes to, let's say, religion, brother,
Mm.
and how that ties to women, is Chile a religious country? And would you say the people, particularly the women, do they have religious values, brother? If so, what religion, or is it like an atheist country?
I think that's a good question. I did not see like at least where I was in those three um suburbs. I didn't see a lot of churches, bro. To be honest with you, I saw like I saw like a two, I think like maybe two or three um Catholic churches, and I think the predominant religion is Catholicism there, of those that are religious, but they don't strike me as very, they don't strike me as a very religious, at least the folks in Santiago, they don't strike me as very religious or overly religious. Um, not a lot of churches. When I was out on a Sunday, there weren't a lot of people out and about, but I think that was only because there were a lot of restaurants that weren't open. Um, Not necessarily because people, so like I don't think there were people out and about because they were in church per se, because I didn't see a lot of churches around, but I think there weren't a lot of people out and about because a lot of places were just closed on Sunday. But yeah, I don't get the sense that they're like say as religious at as religious as like other places have been. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Awesome. Awesome. Fantastic, brother. So we got half an hour left, bro. And I want to get some callers in for them to ask any questions to you, brother, around about Chile. I got some more questions, but I definitely want to get brothers in as we reach the final half hour in this incredible live stream, Johnny. Thank you, bro, for the insightful breakdown, brother. Much appreciated. Um, so, brothers, I'm going to give you the chance to call in, okay? And if you can't call in, send your questions in a PayPal or super chat. We are down to our last hour, 3 hour marathon, incredible. And shout out to Johnny for the great breakdown here so far, okay? Let's get it cracking. So, while we wait for a caller, pardon me, I shall continue to ask questions. So, let me ask this, brother. Um, hmm. So you've mentioned, right? Um,
Mhm.
there are rich women out there in Santiago. Interesting, brother. Are these rich women checking for brothers?
Oh man. Are the rich Chilean women checking for brothers? Um, I mean, I mean, I wouldn't say they're like checking heavy. Um, and I mean, and I think that's because I mean, like they're rich. They already got it made in their country. I don't get the sense that, they are looking to run away from their current situation. They see like, a Westerner, a guy from the US or the UK, and they want a green card, yada yada yada. Um, because they're already doing fairly well in their own country. Um, so in terms of, okay, are they checking heavy for us? And if so, why would they be checking heavy for us? Yeah, I don't get the impression that they're checking super heavy for us. But I think the curiosity is there. I think the interest is there. I think they're generally open. Um, but no, I like it, like heavy. I wouldn't say so. The rich Chilean woman. I mean, they've got it made in the shade in Chile. Um, so no, I wouldn't say so. Mm.
When you say they got a maid in the shade in Chile, is that referring to there's less richer women there in Chile, and that's what brothers should be going for?
Uh, yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say like because the sense that I get in Chile is that um, people are like the women there are looking for someone that's like on more on their footing, like kind of equal to them, maybe equal or greater. So, if your brother, you're not rich, um, I think if you're looking to land a Chilean woman, you might stand a better chance of landing one that's just like in the middle class, you know, maybe upper middle class, but I mean like like a wealthy Chilean woman. I mean, that's you're aiming pretty high, I think. You're aiming pretty high. So I would say, I mean, I don't want to discourage anybody. I definitely don't want to discourage any brothers out there. You know, if you're a confident, self-assured man, you go out there, you shoot your shot. You go ahead and shoot your shot. But I think, if you want, if you want to increase your chances, and you're, you know, middle class guy, maybe go for a middle class Chilean woman. You might have a higher likelihood, I think, a higher probability of landing something.
Awesome, brother. What about online dating? Did you participate in that at all?
So I did, yeah. I let me see here, just so I can get the app correct. It was called Badu. Yeah, it was called Badu. So I got on the Badu app just to see what what the talent was like, um, and then compare it to my previous experiences. And there's definitely plenty of Chilean women on there participating in online dating, uh, ranging from 20 upwards to 38, 40. A lot of average chicks, a lot of average chicks on there. Uh, Maybe some of them might be a little delusional, going by the interest that I got from some of the chicks. I was like, oh no, no, I wouldn't give you the time of day. But um, yeah, there's definitely an online dating presence out there. They're using Badu, they're using Bumble. I did change my location, I think, to Santiago while I was there just to see what was out there. Um, Actually, the selection on Bumble looked a little bit better. So yeah, my recommendation for brothers would be maybe use Bumble as opposed to Badu. Um, but yeah, there's definitely online dating out there. They're definitely participating in that. I think if you wanted to, you could land some dates using some of those apps. Um, Again, I think you're gonna want to know Spanish because they immediately start talking to you in Spanish. If you reach out and start chatting them up. Um, but yeah, yeah, it's an option. It's an avenue. The women that I saw in public were better looking than the woman that I saw online. Like, and this is general advice I would give to brothers. Okay, if you're traveling abroad, if you want to use online dating, you can totally. If you want to do it, go ahead. I totally support it if you want to do it. But I'm telling you, you can get it all done just from cold approaching.
Mm.
Um, I've I did a lot of cold approaching in Tanzania. Um, a lot of cold approaching in Tanzania, man, and it was just, man, bro, you don't need the apps out there. You don't need the apps. And in Vancouver, I didn't do as much cold approaching as I probably should have, but the women were so engaging in Vancouver. I mean, I'm like, I'm silly for not cold approaching. I should just because the women were going out of their way to talk to me for extended periods of time. Like the wait staff, you know, even the woman that I did take out on dates from some of the apps that I used, like, man, and even the looks that I got, I guys, guys, when you travel, it's okay. Just like, you go up to them and talk to them. Don't be weird. Be a be be confident, self-assured of yourself, um, and strike up a conversation. Trust me, like, they are not gonna react like American women or like UK women. They're not gonna, like, suck their teeth, roll their eyes, and be like, "Oh, what are you doing? Why are you talking to me? Do you know who I am? You're just a regular person." They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that. Trust me. You stand out. You're brand new. You're a tourist. You're a foreigner. You're a Western man. you know, you're black, you're suave, you're smooth, you're masculine. Um, and they're interested. Trust me. Trust me. They're interested. They're at least curious. At the minimum, they're curious. They're curious, and they'll hear what you have to say. And if they're dating someone, or if they're not interested, you know, they'll make that known, and they'll be polite about it. Okay, but go up and talk to women, because like when I was in Chile, I'm like, the woman that I'm seeing out in public, they're much better looking than the women that are out online. I think the women that are online, they're online because they have to be, because this is the only way they're going to get something. Okay, but the women that are out in public walking about, um on average, they looked better than I'd say the woman that I saw online in general. And if I were a brother and I was down there, I just if my objective was to meet someone, like my objective this time wasn't really to meet anybody, but if my objective were to meet someone, I just walk up to him and start talking to him in Spanish.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Let me ask this, brother, right? Can I ask you, right? When you're out there in Santiago, Chile, how does the average woman dress like? Because we know in the West, right, the average woman dresses like a HOE. Uh, you know, no cap,
It's true.
bruv.
Oh man.
Mini skirts. So they're wearing this new piece of clothing. It's like a bra, but I think they call it a corset. I'm thinking, what are you chicks wearing nowadays, bruv? Like it's like it shows their belly, and it's like a bra, like a slash corset. You see the cleavage. I'm thinking this is just too much. A mini skirt with a blazer. I'm thinking, what is going on, bruv? Is that happening over there in Santiago, Chile? Are they more conservative in their dressing? Are they wearing long skirts, like I love seeing women wear, or are they wearing mini skirts out there? Break down the normal average dressing, brother, please.
Happy to, happy to. Yeah, man. The place where I hung out at, they're dressing pretty classily and conservatively. Now, I did go when it was a little bit cooler, so like the temperature is like more in the 60s. But yeah, high 50s, low 60s, mid to high 60s. Okay, so it's too cold to wear super scantily clad clothes anyway. But uh, from what I did see, they were pretty much covered, you know, from head to toe. Some were wearing jeans, some were wearing nice dressy business pants, nice blouses, um, nice nice jackets, um, just covered, covered, hair worn long or worn up in a bun or worn in a ponytail. Uh, I didn't see a lot of colored hair. I didn't see hoop earrings, super long fingernails. Um, yeah, they dress respectably. They don't dress like HOEs out there. They're not trying to flash too much skin at you, even when they're indoors, even when they're inside at nice restaurants. Some of them are in dresses, in heels, nice tops. Like, these are women you could take out on a date, you could take home to mom and dad and not feel ashamed.
Damn, fantastic, fantastic. So I've got a caller here, Johnny. Mr. JAM in the background. You're confirmed, brother. Turn your camera off. It's all good. Let me bring you in right now, JAM. What's going on, JAM?
Hey man, I apologize if you saw anything that you shouldn't have seen. I was in the shower listening to Scream, and of course, as soon as I decided to take the shower, you decided to start the call in. So I was quickly trying to get myself situated. But anyway, I'm glad that we got this new intel. I will admit, I'm a little disappointed from what I hear, because it sounds like what the I'm sorry, what's your name again? Because this is the first time I've actually heard the Scream from beginning to end. I've been listening while I was working out, and then I showered, and now I'm here. What's your name again, caller?
I go by Johnny.
Johnny. All right, yeah. So
Yeah.
the reason I'm a little bit disappointed is because you tell me that the women there are mid, right? And then you also said the expense is high. It's actually the highest in South America. So it's like, look, I have no problem, right, spending more, but
Mm-hmm.
I want to. But when I spend more, I want to get more. It's kind of like being in the U.S. Right? The
Mm.
U.S. is expensive, but the women here are terrible. So it's like when I spend
So
less, I
true.
get better quality. So it's like, okay, if I was spending more to get better quality, then that's perfectly fine. I mean, that's expected. But if you're telling me I'm going to be spending the most in South America to live there, and the women there are just mid, I'll be honest, it doesn't really sound too favorable to me. And one more thing I want to say, earlier you said a shot about Miami. I'm from Miami.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, I completely agree, man. I completely understand. And the second thing you said, just like 2 minutes ago, about it being cold in New York. I mean, it being cold in Chile, and so they dress more classy, and because they kind of have to. I mean, I would disagree with that, man. I'm originally from New York, and if you've seen the way the women dress in New York when it's below freezing, we used to have a saying. We used to say the HOEs didn't feel cold. So,
No, I respect that disagreement. No, the American woman specifically, man. I mean, they go to great lengths to get attention, and if they have to sacrifice that comfort of feeling warm, they will do it. They will they will do it.
yeah, I also want
Yeah.
to touch up on what IP said about the corsets. What these women do now, because they're not fit, right? They're not. That's one thing I do like about Miami, because you're right by the beach. For the most part, people are not sloppily overweight like they are in New York, because you're going to be showing off your body pretty much all year round. So that's like an incentive for you to stay in shape. But yeah, essentially the new HOE attire is all these tight fitting clothes that's really meant to contour their body to look like something it's not supposed to look like. So I'm sure you've heard like different I'm not going to mention their names, but you've heard different YouTubers. And they say like, once you get them in the bedroom and you take their clothes off, it's just like it's like a busted Pillsbury donut. Like that's really what it is. These corsets are like what they do now is they wear these like girdles. I don't know what to call them, but they wear these girls to make their waist look slimmer. And so if they wear any of that stuff, like that's a red flag for me. I don't even touch that. But honestly, all of American women are a red flag to me. Like now, I'm back in the States, unfortunately, and I didn't even have to be here, but that's a whole side tangent. I'm back in the States, and so it's a Friday night here in Miami. Typically, what I would do is I would go out and try to chase tail, but I realized that there's greener pastures, so I am grinding now. I'm grinding. I'm only when I'm in the States, I'm here to grind. I'm here to work. And I'm here to be diligent. And then when I go abroad, that's all I have my fun. But I'm glad for the intel. It just kind of sucks because apparently you're telling the women they're mid, and then even on the apps they're below mid, and then the expense is high. So it's like okay, all right.
Yeah, it's higher than it would be, I would say, in like a place like Colombia, Brazil, Costa Rica for sure. And yeah, I'd say yeah, even Mexico is going to be higher. Um, and yeah, I mean, there's some above average talent, some gems, but yeah, by and large, in my opinion, overall, they seem middle of the road to me. You're gonna save some money by being there as opposed to the states, but yeah, you're not getting you're not getting much more bang for your buck. I mean, the women there are a little bit more feminine, a little bit more submissive than you would find in America. They're a little bit more cooperative. They still want their career, still value education to a great deal. They don't strike me as women that would settle down at 20 or 22, but at some point they would, because I still think that family pressure exists to want to settle down. But yeah, like in terms of the face, the body, I mean, and I'm just trying to be fair, to all of the other places that I've been. I've been in like 12 other countries, you know, maybe almost twice that number in the number of cities, and I've seen talent out in the world. And the Chilean women, they're just not touching certain countries to me, my opinion.
Yeah, I'll actually be out in Panama thanks to IP. I didn't even know about that country, but until I heard the stream now,
That is also on my list, brother. I am definitely going to Panama City after the Intel
or
IP
do you know,
shared.
approximately when you're going? Because I'll be there late November, early December.
Ooh, well, so the whole month of December, I'm supposed to be in Tanzania. So it's probably gonna, and then like in January, I'm gonna go to Colombia, but uh, I'd say probably sometime next year, sometime in maybe the spring.
I
I'm gonna
see.
hit up Panama because IP you went in February, right?
Yeah, I went in February. Yes,
And the weather was good, right?
amazing weather.
Okay, yeah. Then that's probably when I'm gonna go.
Oh, IP, let me tell you again, by the way, these long flights, because, mainly the only countries I've been to is in Southeast Asia. And, the flights are long. I download your streams. It helps me get through the flight so much. I appreciate it. I literally just binge watch your streams while I'm I'm sitting in the flight. So I appreciate all your streams, brother. But pretty much the gist that I got from what you said, Jonathan, is essentially Chile is more like an early 2000s America that speaks Spanish. Like it's kind of the vibe that I got. It's like a
Mm.
little bit before feminism took like hold. I mean, they're not super crazy red hair, blue hair, pink hair feminists, and they still value family, but they value career, and they're kind of trying to find that middle ground. And I'll be honest with you,
Yeah.
I think IP and I are in the same boat. I don't like that. I don't like older women. I want my woman to be young. If she can grow old with me, maybe that, But the whole like career and stuff like that, I'm not feeling that. And then when you said that the girls are mid, that just high pressure. So I was like, all right, I
I
mean,
don't want to lie to the brothers, man. I want to keep it a stack, man. I really do. I really want to give reliable, accurate intel, and to me, they're mid.
no, I appreciate it. Like like I said, I have no problem with the price. I know Japan's a little more expensive. Korea, those are countries I plan on going to, especially Japan. I'll plan on living there for at least 3 months next year, right? And I have no problem paying the price because the culture and the women are definitely worth it. But if you're telling me that I can get girls that can get better, I mean, I'm in Miami. The women here. I mean, I'm sure
Oh,
they're
they're
equal.
fire. Oh, they're
Exactly.
fire, bro.
So I'm not gonna spend that time traveling just to get girls I could probably just get here. And
Yeah,
so
the thing. So, like, yeah, if you were comparing Chile to Japan, right? I'd easily go for Japan because and I like Japanese cuisine. Like I love sushi a lot. The women there look decent. They've got that uber femininity about them, more so than what I detected from the woman in Chile. So to me, Japan is an easy win over Chile. If we're if we're talking about you're traveling, you're spending money, I think you're getting more bang for your buck in Japan or South Korea as opposed to Chile. Now, what kind of makes me hesitate more is the fact that I know a lot of Spanish, so I know if I really like if my objective was women and I were to go down there, I would approach bad women, like bad as in like they're good looking, and I'd start speaking Spanish. And I think that that's going to make it a harder decision uh than it would if I didn't know any Spanish. Oh, I don't know any Spanish. Let me just go to Japan. But I know so much Spanish now because I've been to all these Spanish countries. I took 3 classes of Spanish in high school. I've practiced. I've gone through exercises and whatnot. So I think I stand a good chance of probably pulling an above average Chilean woman. Um, but if you're a brother and you haven't had a lick of Spanish, and you like sushi more than you like, steak in a bun, steak and bread. Yeah, it would be Japan all the way, South Korea all the way.
yeah, man, I feel you. I mean, like I said, I'm in Miami, so I picked the Spanish. It's kind of like the primary language here. If you want to actually live a good life here, you kind of really need to pick the Spanish. So entiendo
Mm.
español. Mi español no es bueno, pero no es malo. Entiendo mucho, pero cuando hablo como gringo. It is what it is. But yeah, so,
Yeah,
but maybe like Panama or another Spanish-speaking country could be.
yeah, exactly. Like if it's Chile versus a ton of other Spanish countries, like I'm picking Colombia over Chile. I'm picking probably, and I haven't even been to Panama, but I'm probably picking Panama over Chile. I'm definitely picking Costa Rica over Chile, and I'm picking Mexico over Chile. I'm pretty much picking every Spanish speaking country I've been to over Chile, in my opinion. Yeah.
It's funny it's funny how like all
Last point there, JM. Okay, I need to jump
yeah,
off.
I was gonna say the last point. It's funny how they promote the white woman as like the standard beauty, but everyone here kind of devolves when they don't really want a white Latina. They'd rather have the more morenas. I know I would. So Anyway, I appreciate the stream. I'll log off now.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, JM. Thank you, brother. All right, I'm going to bring in one last caller. Mr. Data, can you turn your camera on, please? No, no, turn your camera on and turn the light. No, turn your camera on and the lights on. Because turn your lights on, bro. I need to see if you're not a troll. It's all blacked out, bro. Turn the light on in your room, please. No, it's looking like a horror movie in there, but I need to see if you're actually a real human being. All right. I can't see you, bro. I cannot see you, bro. I'm not taking that risk. Data, you gotta make your room brighter and bring you on, brother. Make your room brighter because I cannot see you, bruv. Sorry, bro, it ain't happening, but I ain't taking no risk. I've been in situations where trolls called on, put something crazy on the screen. I had to cancel a stream. Sorry, bro. It's a security procedure. So have you fixed that, bro, or I can't bring you on? I'm sorry, bro. Let me see. Yep. You're good now. Thank you, bro. You're good. All right, turn your camera off. You're good. Turn your camera off, bro. Yeah, you're good, brother. Yeah. All right, turn your camera off. Let me bring in Mr. Data. What's going on, Data? Brother, I said turn your camera off. What's going on, bro?
Yo.
How you doing, man?
My bad, T. What's good?
Not bad. I'm all good, brother. I'm all good, brother. We got 5 minutes left, brother. What's your question, brother, please? All right, bro. There's a huge lag, bro.
Okay,
Are
for
you on that
sure.
AOL plan?
I had a question about
Yeah.
what.
Go on, bro. Go on. Sorry.
Hold on.
Yeah, what's going on, bruv? You good, bro?
Fool looks like he
sorry,
dropped off.
you jumped off, man. So we're down to our last 4 minutes, man. So we'll wait for him. But if we've missed the deadline, we're gonna end it because 3 hours is more than enough. So Johnny, classic, brother. Do you have any closing statements for the brother, Johnny?
Yeah, no, overall I'd say I had a good time. I think like if I hadn't gone to like, Vancouver and Colombia beforehand, I probably would have had more to give, uh, more attention to give to the woman there. I was because I had already sown some wild oats prior to that trip. I was like, let me just go down and be a casual observer, do some recon. I got a brother or two that's also interested in going to Chile, and they wanted some intel. I was also curious about the place. Overall, uh, I like the environment. It's classy, sophisticated. Which is more my wavelength anyway. I like that kind of vibe. Um, yeah, women are not like super top tier, right? Um, but that doesn't mean that there isn't some potential there. And I think if you know Spanish, if you can speak Spanish, um, and you're bringing your A game, right? Dressed well, carrying yourself like you got some sense, um, and you're willing to spend a little bit more money than you would in say Colombia or Costa Rica, and let's say you just want to get a break from the West, but you want to go somewhere where the internet is reliable, where you can work remote without any issues, where it's super safe. Maybe you spend a couple weeks in Santiago. Use it as a stopping point on your way to Argentina or on your way to Lima, Peru. Um, yeah, I'd encourage brothers to still go. Broaden your horizons. Go off the beaten path. Um, because you just never know what you're gonna find. You never know who you're gonna meet. And that's what I would say about Chile in general, about IT and Python, and getting on this remote work, IT journey, um, my only advice is, brothers, go after it. Go after it. Go after it, because every year that you don't do it, um, that's one less year that you could have been
Mm,
spending abroad,
facts.
living life as God intended. Like, I don't think that God intended for us to lead or live the kind of existence that we're leading and living in the states or in the
Mm,
UK, man. I really don't believe that. Um, the whole system, and the programming and everything, the matrix as you call it, it's so it's not set up for you to really lead the kind of fulfilling life that I think is intended for any brother to lead or live. Um, and you know, unfortunately, in our generation, we got to work a little bit harder to facilitate that, but it can be done. It's not like it's hopeless or anything, right? You got brothers like IP and Theo that are willing to take the time, their precious time, to do this. They don't have to do this. Theo does not have to do what he's doing. That man is rich. Okay, he could go away. He could go to Eastern Europe. He could go to Colombia. He could go anywhere and spend the rest of his life working remote. Okay, and go find a dime foreign woman and start a family and live the rest of his life completely outside of America. IP, with all the information that he has, with this skill set that he has, okay, he could have been left all of his brothers behind. He could have left us behind. He could have been like, I'm going to put myself first. I'm not going to be a modern. IP is pretty much a modern day Moses, and Dimswood is like Aaron. You know, like trying to lead the Israelites, us brothers who are in bondage in the matrix, out of Egypt. Okay, Egypt is the states. Egypt is the UK. Okay, this is an analogy here. Okay, guys like IP, Theo, you know, they're like they're like our modern day Moses, our modern day Aaron, and they're coming to where we are, and they're like, look, you can be free if you want to. This is how. All you got to do is you got to be willing to put in the time, be willing to put in the effort, step out in faith, take a chance, and you don't have to do too much. You really don't. Spend a little bit of money, get a laptop. I mean, trust me, it's a much better investment than Jordan's. It's a much better investment than taking Keisha out on these $150, $200 dates. It's a much better investment than streaming Netflix, HBO, Disney, and Hulu Plus. Trust me. Trust me, this will save your life, and it'll put you on a trajectory where you can actually still make a good amount of money, have a family, and live the kind of life that you want. Chart a course for your life that's gonna um, uh, put you in a place where you know you can have a family and be fulfilled. So you don't have to just exist in the matrix. You can live outside of it, and they're showing you the way.
Amazing, amazing closing statement there, brother. Just want to touch upon a point you mentioned earlier, when you mentioned that the longer you brothers wait, like taking a year out, or I'll do it, and the years pass, so you still haven't done it, that's a year wasted. So I'm currently mentoring a brother, right? And he was telling me, "Hey, IP, man, I don't know if I can do this. Hey, IP, I don't know if I can do this." And I set a plan for him on my IT mentorship plan, right? Brother, do this, get that cert. When you pass that cert, I'm going to help you set up your CV, etc., etc. I've now helped him set up his CV in the last couple of weeks, right? And he's getting, you know, he's now improved and increased his IT knowledge tremendously. And now he's getting interview offers from big companies. And it's only a matter of time until a company hires him and he's officially broken into IT. Life changed just like that in a flash, in a goddamn flash.
That's another testimony. That's another testimony. When you got
Mm,
recruiters coming to you, trying to interview you, and you directly facilitated that, planned that, orchestrated that, you know? Guys, guys, we're talking about people's lives being changed here. Like in the making. I mean, if you're part of the Facebook group, you know, and you heard Ramel's story when he was on IP's platform and they were streaming about Ramel's story. You know what his situation was like before he talked to IP. You see what his situation is like after he talked to IP. Dimswood is another example. I think he has two two gigs, right? You saw what his situation was like before talking with IP. You see what his situation is like after talking to IP, you know? Even me. I know what life was like before I was talking to Theo and IP, and I see what my life is like now after talking to Theo and IP. Guys, it's on you. It's on you. When do you want to start living? This is a question you got to ask.
facts, man. Facts, man. You're in the Facebook group, aren't you, Johnny? Ramel's having a great time.
Yeah, I
And
see it.
and I'm proud of him. I'm super proud of him because I remember when we were earlier this year when I was consulting with him, helping him out. He put a consultation, um, gave him all the information, all the guidance I could give him, and 2 months later, he breaks the news to me, "Hey, P, I've just got my first job." And this was a process where I took a lot of time, going through his CV. Me and Remote did that together, gave him all the pointers that could improve his CV and his LinkedIn profile, and to see and to witness that I was involved in changing someone's life. You know, bruv, yeah, I love doing what I do, man. I'm telling you, it's come, bro.
You were instrumental, bro. Like crucial, pivotal. Because I read I read his Facebook post and I heard his stream and I'm like I heard what it was like beforehand and it just looked bleak. And now, I don't want to spill anything. You guys, if you're not a part of the Facebook group, if you're not on the Patreon, you're really missing out on these brothers' testimonies. That guy is having the time of his life in Southeast Asia right now and working remote. And he was it was only earlier this year in 2023 when you had that consultation. So what was that? What is that? That was like a timeline of what you from for like a 2 month timeline. He got his first job. 3 to 4 or 5 months after that, he's in Southeast Asia. Come on, guys, what are you waiting for? It's not
Uh,
something that takes 5 years, and we're not talking about going to medical school. We're not talking about 4 years of medical school, 2 years of residency, and all that. We're not talking about, getting an engineering degree, or getting a law degree 3 years time. We're not talking about that, guys. Your life could change within the year. Within 6 months, your life could change depending on the circumstances. I know you could talk about it
Facts.
all day, IP. You could talk about it all day.
Man, I could talk about all day, brother. I'm telling you, man. Man, I'm really loving what I do, man. With this channel, changing lives, the Patreon content, the IT stuff, brothers, and having that network as well. I mean,
It's a
the
powerful network.
Discord, a powerful network, brother. Of
There's a
brothers.
lot of knowledge on the Discord. I'm discovering it. Like there's this one dude. He's a wealth of information. And then you and Dimswood, you guys are always up to date on everything that's happening in the news, connecting all the dots. I'm like, man, this Discord is a gold mine.
Facts, bro. Facts, man. Um, I mean, yeah, brothers, I'm super happy, man. I think the next upcoming intellectuals of brothers is going to be from this channel, the Passport Bros movement. Super happy with the cohorts of brothers that like-minded, driven towards one goal, and we help each other out. We share intel, and next year is going to be our biggest year yet. Um, before I end the stream, brothers, press a one in the chat if you're into crypto, and you know, tell me your thoughts about XRP, right, brothers? Or any other cryptos. What crypto next year do you feel is going to be the wealth making machine for brothers? Type it in the in the live stream chat. Do you think it's going to be XRP, XLM? Do you think a certain coin next year is going to, you know, be that wealth generating machine for brothers in the passport bro space? You know, so Gold Eagle, what crypto? I think this is gonna be, and obviously Johnny, feel free to drop off, brother. We are over 3 hours, but I appreciate you, brother. It's
Okay.
up to you,
Yeah, I'll
bro.
fade in the background. Yeah.
Okay, okay, awesome, bro, awesome. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate you, bro. Um, I'm into Bitcoin. So again, any brothers into crypto, reach out to me directly. Send me a DM on Instagram. You know, uh, you know, if crypto's going to be um, the wealth making, animal, for passport bros, right? Um, let me know, man. Let me know. Okay. Um, can I ask you better every day why you're betting on Bitcoin and Solana, brother, long term? And how long are you waiting for? Is that a 1 year process? Is that 5 years? Because obviously the last crypto bull run was in 2020, 2021. Uh, a couple brothers missed out on that, and we don't want brothers to miss out on the next one. So again, all right, crypto brothers, VeChain, crypto tribe live. You want to send me a DM on IG, and tell me why VeChain. Okay. Um, okay. There's so many cryptos, man, and cryptos. There's just so many out there. Like, you want to make sure you pick the right crypto that is going to pop off, man. Like, there's just so many out there, bro. Okay, so I'm gonna give you brothers 3 or 4 minutes, okay, to write the crypto stuff. And shout out to Johnny again, Johnny, legend. Appreciate you, Johnny, bro. Great live stream, classic live stream. Chile, we broke down Chile to an absolute T. Okay, I wouldn't sell my Bitcoin. Okay, awesome. What cryptos? Johnny Walker says Bitcoin definitely going to go up. Okay, in 2024. Awesome, awesome, man. Bitcoin is a heavy bag. I can't get a single coin. That's completely out my budget. Bitcoin, and nah, it's completely out. I can't afford Bitcoin. Okay, ETH. Okay, okay, okay. ETH, cool. Appreciate you, Johnny Walker. And any other brothers? Nope. No idea what Bitcoin mining is, bro. Again, if you got any of these ideas, reach out to me on the Instagram DMs. Thing is, right, if you buy a frictional Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin, I think is at what is it? Let me check the Bitcoin price in dollars. So Bitcoin price, dollars. So Bitcoin is at $26,600. So if you buy a fraction of it, let's say you buy $600 of Bitcoin, for you to get a profit, right? For you to get, let's say, a 100% profit, Bitcoin would have to double in its price. Okay, what does that mean? So for you to, earn 1,000, 200, Bitcoin has to go up to almost 50K. Come on, brothers. You know, that $600, right, should be right in a much cheaper coin. Okay, where when it puffs up, it pops off, and it gives you a lot more profit. So, Dark Ninja says H bar. Okay, bro. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Okay. V chain is mentioned again. V chain is mentioned again. Thing is, right, you want to pick coins that, let me see, because obviously Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, those are speculative coins, so they go up quickly and they drop down quickly. Okay, I believe the best coins to pick are coins that go up very quickly and stay stable. Okay, because if you pick these speculative coins, right, that means you gotta be watching that 24/7, because you may miss the point when where it increased tremendously. Okay, you know. So for example, right, let me see. This crypto thing is, it's quite tricky. It is very tricky. So if you have any tips you can provide for the brothers for crypto, feel free to reach out, man. Feel free to reach out. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna end the stream in 2 minutes. Okay. Johnny, thank you, bro, for this incredible insight into Chile. Incredible. I will be rewatching this. Okay. Tomorrow, as I always do. I always love rewatching the streams. Keeps me motivated when I'm studying. The grind don't stop. Even IP studies every day. Okay. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate you, bro. So we're down to our last minute. Let me just check the PayPal. And go and check out that new Nas album. It's been on my mind all day, man. The beats, Nas is spitting. Nas is the GOAT. Okay, don't care what anyone says. Nas is the best rapper of all time. Okay? No one comes close. No one comes close. Nas is the GOAT. All right, so I think I have a PayPal donation here. Shout out to Mr. Demitric. Appreciate you, bro. Great show, IP. Johnny Walker, let's go. Tech Boys on the loose. Thank you, bro, for the £7 PayPal donation. Much appreciated, bro. Thank you very much. Okay, awesome. All right, brothers. IP, Johnny, thank you, bro, for the great breakdown. International passport. And I will see you, brothers, tomorrow for another interesting country. And you're going to love it. Pardon me. Salutes. Okay. Have a great weekend ahead. Peace out, brothers. And join the Python course. We've only got a couple more spots left. All right. Peace out. Thank you.